boycott of the new publican AI system. Ashanti region's latest landfill site near shuts down as Kumasi faces growing waste crisis amid rising daily volumes and limited disposal capacity. Carlos Queiroz has been appointed as the new Ghana national team head coach who will lead the Black Stars to the FIFA 2026 World Cup. Thank you for staying with us. We'll go straight to the details now, where the Coalition of Trade and Freight Forwarders Association of Ghana has declared a 4-day nationwide boycott in protest against the government's introduction of the publican AI tool at the ports. Now, according to the group, the system is disrupting trade operations, increasing the cost of doing business, and leading to significant financial losses for importers and clearing agents.
The government recently introduced the Public Trade Solution, an AI system, as part of efforts to digitize port operations, improve efficiency, and enhance revenue collection. The group cites several instances where the new AI-driven charging system has significantly increased duties, some by as much as 300%, placing a heavy burden on businesses and slowing down cargo clearance processes. Paul Mensah is the General Secretary of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders.
Somebody bringing Toyota Voxy. The Voxy that they say shouldn't be commercially used, which I pay 69,000 cedis. Now it is 7,980,000. For the same Voxy, I pay 69,000. So if it is not a flaw, if it is not an error, and then they explain that the AI is not valuing vehicles. So which customs officer, having gone through a training, will sit down and value a car, a vehicle, a 7-seater vehicle, 7 million? There are so many of them, but they'll tell you, oh, these are just few. These are just few. If we are to bring those ones to you, you marvel. And if really there are few, how come the port is congested?
The General Secretary of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Paul Mensah, noted that the situation could worsen if authorities fail to engage stakeholders and address concerns.
Declaration of industrial action that we are taking for the coordinated strike action from tomorrow to Friday. Right after that, the traders will also bring their action for the following week, so that all this will continue till years are given to our issues.
Now, away from that, a pastor has been arrested for allegedly attempting to bury a 5-month-old baby alive at the Abromfo in the Etimwa Mampumwa district of the Ashanti region. The suspect, Apostle Dr. Richmond Akwesi Frimpong, who is the head pastor of the Anointed Grace Prayer Ministry at the Kufuor camp, was apprehended following the incident, which has left residents in shock.
An eyewitness, Winfred Agba, says he spotted a pastor and accomplice at the refuse dump at about 11 p.m. holding the baby under suspicious circumstances. He says he intervened and discovered the child was still alive and about to be buried.
I came to meet the three of them and I asked them what they are doing here. They told me it's their baby who has passed on and they are here to bury it. I insisted seeing the child. That's when I found out that the baby is alive. We later sent them to the chief.
The chief linguist of Abofrem, Nanaya Obidu, also confirmed that the pastor had earlier informed him that the baby had died, prompting him to direct them to a burial site. He says he was unaware the child was still alive at the time.
What is it? Did you planesi? Do ko hu ya ni se mo ba mna krana mo so wu na o mu kwa kwesi no krana mu.
I was told one man from this area heard some noise in the bush and rushed to see what was happening there. What he found out was that the baby the culprit claimed was dead was still alive.
Police at BBNE have since arrested the suspect and his accomplice and say investigations are ongoing. The baby has been taken to the Abofrem clinic and is receiving medical treatment.
Also stay in the Ashanti region because the Oti landfill site that serves Kumasi and its surrounding municipalities faces a possible shutdown within the next 3 months. City authorities warn that the facility has reached full capacity and can no longer accommodate the growing volume of waste generated generally. Ibrahim Abubakar visited the land site and reports on the worsening sanitation situation.
Mountains of unprocessed waste and an overwhelming stench define the current state of the Oti landfill site, the main waste disposal facility serving Kumasi and beyond. Now stretched beyond its limit, the site is struggling to cope with the sheer volume of waste dumped here daily.
For now, we are running at about 2,000, 2,500 tons per day for the greater Kumasi. What is happening is that waste from the adjoining districts are all coming here. And so the quantity has increased tremendously.
The situation is being worsened by the inadequate waste management infrastructure and the absence of effective recycling systems. Long queues have become the norm for tricycle waste collectors who spend hours waiting to dispose of refuse at the site.
If the machine is a new one, if you pour the boiler here, the machine will push the boiler from here to this palm tree so that it will level it. And the second one will put it. So even 10 motors will pour all the boiler down and it will put always level.
The bulldozers have worked for years. They need to be replaced by now. The contractor operating the site who owns this equipment has not been paid for over 2 years. So you can't complain, ask him to replace the machines. But then if he is paid and the machines are replaced, we will not have such problems here.
City authorities say the situation has reached a critical point, warning the landfill could hit full capacity within months if urgent measures are not implemented.
Previously, we had indicated that we are going to close it in a matter of 18 months. Today, as we speak, if nothing is done urgently by all of us, within the next 3 months, we are likely to shut a final disposal site and stop every assembly within Greater Kumasi, save maybe Asokwa Municipal Assembly, from dumping their refuse at the final disposal site. They may have to look for places where they will dump their refuse.
To address the looming crisis, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly says plans are underway to construct 2 landfill cells at an estimated cost of €6 million.
We are engaging with my sector ministry on how best to have some amount of money out of the 6 million. Just so even if we can do 1 cell in the medium term, it can take us to about 2-3 years for us to manage the waste.
Environmental observers caution that failure to act swiftly could trigger major sanitation crisis in the city. The fate of this landfill site now hangs in the balance as city authorities race against time to find sustainable solutions to the growing waste problem in Kumasi. They say key interventions will help to prevent a full-blown sanitation crisis in the Ashanti regional capital. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Oti landfill site, Kumasi.
Now, away from that, the Ghana National Fire Service is investigating a Sunday outbreak at the Ritz Junction that razed over 20 metal and wooden shops and completely bent their belongings. Affected traders who are appealing for support to recover from their losses have blamed the unidentified welder for the fire outbreak, but the fire service is yet to ascertain the cause. Christian Yali reports.
Ritz Junction in the Medina constituency has gained notoriety for frequent fire outbreaks, but this time, a different area close to the Ashalibutre taxi station made the headlines. About 12 metal containers and 18 wooden structures with content have bent, leaving traders stranded. Ishmael Agre is a father of 4 whose wife recently gave birth. Losing his drinking spot to the fire has dealt him a heavy blow.
I see what might be now. As already idea, and I would say fire no already at the next cocoon su yanka already at the Kodegusuno. Also needs you.
We were told the fire was caused by a welder who ran away when the fire started. I'm a father of 4. My wife gave birth just 2 months ago. This is the only job that sustains me and the family. Government should help me start over again.
He's not alone. Several shop owners are disoriented.
That was on Friday. That's 100 pieces, almost 4,000.
Just last Friday, I purchased pieces of bottled water equivalent to 4,000 Ghana cedis. I couldn't sell much. I'm a single mother of 2. I need help.
Because me say me kita nkwala mienu me nko a enura ne day am ko di dwabegu because me di dwa Sunday am akodi abegu because me nkombra no na yese man fa ba kokura anfi ha.
I usually stock my shop every Sunday. All the goods I bought yesterday is gone. I've lost my capital in this outbreak.
A shop full of soft drinks and alcoholic beverages was not spared. Even a billboard nearby partly bent. Shop owners have lost almost all their belongings in their shops, but there is a striking thing that I want to show you in this particular one, which used to be a drinking spot. The owner tells me he had some 35,000 cedis here. All have been bent. This is a 200 cedis note, and when you look on the floor, you realize that there are 20 cedis, 50 cedis, 200 cedis notes, bits and pieces of them that are all spread on the floor, that he's lost everything to the fire. 3 fire engines were deployed to the scene to confine and stop the spread of the fire. I visited the Medina fire station for update on the incident and was told investigations are ongoing to ascertain the cause of the outbreak. Officials say a comprehensive update will be provided once the probe is done. Christian Yali, TV3 News.
The High Court has granted the request of lawyers for the former director of the National Service Authority, Osei Asibe, to report to the BNI office in Kumasi as part of his bail conditions. Osei Asibe, who faces multiple charges including stealing, using public office for profit, and money laundering in connection with ghost names at the NSA, has pleaded not guilty to 21 fresh charges, including causing financial loss to the Republic of over 431.8 million Ghana cedis. Lord Idwasari reports.
Out on Monday, April 13, before the case management conference could proceed, the prosecution led by Principal State Attorney Dufie Prempeh sought additional time to complete the filing of disclosures. Dufie Prempeh informed the court that the prosecution had filed 49 documents earlier in the morning but needed a month's adjournment to file another set of disclosures for the case. Defense lawyers led by Ralph Poko-Dusay opposed the request for a short adjournment, noting that the defense would also need about a month to review the disclosures filed by the prosecution. Presiding Judge Justice Kizita Nakoa Kwashi, after hearing counsel from both sides, adjourned the case to May 13 and directed the prosecution to file the documents within time. Ralph Poko-Dusay also prayed that the courts vary the bail conditions of Osei Asibe, suggesting that he reports to the Kumasi office of the Bureau of National Intelligence instead of Accra, as was the current order. The former executive director of the National Service Authority's bail conditions include reporting to the BNI twice monthly, on the first and third Wednesdays, surrendering his passports and being placed on the watch list of the Immigration Service. Lodi Dwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, away from the courts, we go to the labor fronts where the University of Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, has issued a 14-day ultimatum to government to remove the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Abdullahi Jinapo, and his deputy. UTAG accuses the GTEC boss of overstepping his mandate by interfering in post-retirement contracts of lecturers, downgrading academic staff, and micromanaging university councils. My colleague Daniel Opoku was at the press conference and has filed this report.
The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, says its 14-day ultimatum follows an earlier petition submitted to the President John Dramani Mahama in February this year, calling for the removal of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission Director General, Professor Abdullahi Jinapo, over similar concerns. Although the presidency requested time to address the matter, UTAG says no concrete action has been taken. Addressing a news conference in Accra, UTAG's national president, Professor Vera Fiado, expressed frustration that the situation persists. UTAG further alleges that the Director General, Professor Abdullahi Jinapo, has petitioned the Controller and Accountant General to downgrade a lecturer's salary, an action the association describes as an unfair labor practice.
UTAG further notes unilateral variation and selective implementation of negotiated conditions of service, including issues affecting research fellows and librarians on various campuses, promotion areas, as well as salary clearance and payment delays for legitimately engaged staff. These practices undermine good faith collective bargaining, strain labor relations, and heighten the risk of avoidable industrial instability across the public tertiary education sector.
Professor Fiado reiterated UTAG's demand for the removal of Professor Abdullahi Jinapo and his deputy.
The GTEC directives and circulars dated 30th September 2025 and 1st October 2025 will be withdrawn with immediate effect and subjected to structured stakeholder consultation and harmonization with existing legal frameworks and negotiated conditions of service. We also ask, fourth, that all existing post-retirement contracts entered into prior to the said directives be protected and allowed to run their full course without interference.
UTAG warns that the government has 14 days to act to safeguard industrial harmony across university campuses.
We are by this press statement, however, serving notice that if appropriate actions are not taken to satisfactorily address our demands within 14 days from today, we shall, upon further consultation with our rank and file, advise ourselves accordingly. Thank you.
Let's do some health stories now. As government is implementing the free primary health care will cost the taxpayer about 1.1 billion cedis yearly. This came to light when the Health Minister, Kwabena Mensah-Kandor, threw more light on the scope of the program. Well, there's more in this report.
We have in Ghana is not availability of health professionals. That's not our problem. So, by the grace of God, we have enough in the system who will help us to run this system. In fact, it's even a deliberate policy to even assist and facilitate some of them to even go and work outside the country. So our problem is not about the availability of health workers. That is not our problem. So we never even reflected on that because it's not our problem. If it is not broken, you don't fix it. So it's not something we must contemplate on. So you realize that from time to time, and one of my PAs came to show me a video about somebody who was accusing me that I had said we wanted a space to employ before we can employ. You know, you realize that from time to time, government facilitates some people to leave the country. So they create physical space, not vacancies. So the space here is not a vacancy. It's a physical space. Because look, the truth of the matter is that we can only employ what we can pay. It's not as though we don't have the vacancies, but we have a country to govern at the end of the day. So if I go and sit in cabinet and I say, oh, I need free primary health care, then they give me. I want to recruit health professors, then they will give me. I need Mahama care, then they will give you. Regional hospitals, they will give you. Why? Am I the only ministry? No. So at some point in time,
we have a country to govern. And that is a reality. You may not be happy with it, but I'm sorry, that's a reality. We've done the costing, and we need not less than 1.2 billion Ghana cedis a year to be able to run this. So we've done the costing. So if you want by much, you can divide by 12 and you get a figure. So it's not an ad hoc program or project. We've thought through it, we've engaged widely, we've done our projections, and we know what we are doing.
That was the Health Minister, Kwabena Mintah Akando. Now, the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association, working with all key stakeholders, has appointed Carlos Queiroz as the head coach of the senior national team. The former Real Madrid, Manchester United, Portugal, and Iran coach will lead Ghana's campaign at the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. He led South Africa to qualification for the 2002 FIFA World Cup, guided Portugal to the knockout phase in 2010, and took charge of Iran at both the 2014 and 2018 tournament. He has also held coaching roles in Egypt, Oman, Japan, and Qatar, and is expected to bring his wealth of experience to bear during the World Cup. And that brings us to the end of News Morning here on TV3. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Haliga. Stay with us.
B, Chado, those places, welcome. And then touring Europe, you to welcome. Schengen, those places. I saw you in Italy.
Yes, I was in Paris.
Paris,
and I'm called London. And I'm called London.
London. I saw you at the Samsung shop yesterday.
Yes, I went to a Samsung
So yesterday
shop.
I went to your, because of that peer pressure. So I went to the Samsung shop at
Akramo.
Yes.
Oh.
So I went to do window shopping. You know me, I want the flip.
Because you saw my video.
Yes. Because I said, when? By God's grace, when? So I went to there. Hopefully you can go there and ask them. So I was there yesterday, just do a pass-through. Did a pass-through before. You know, these things are infectious.
Next time I'll just go with you.
Yeah.
Next time I'll just
welcome.
go with you. Thank you.
And I love the look of the two of you. Charlie, give them, very Olivian style, kind of. Yeah. Who made this one? Yeah. Just take a look.
Lauren Couture made this one.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
also
we have. Double-breasted.
Eddie Joy.
Large, double-breasted, mid, small size. Oh, please. Who is switching? Who is doing that switching? Who is in? Who is doing that switching? Who?
Somebody.
Fantastic. Very beautiful, tailored. I love this. And then the next one, who's having the next one? Charlie, very beautiful. Let me welcome all of you to the show. And so welcome. Let me say good morning to Pai Fianku. Pai Fianku works with engineers and planners. You know, they are going to take over the Dama mine. So we have to pay tribute to them. Ibrahim Mahama, Baba, good morning to you as well. And then his lead driver is Alhaji Nuruddin. Let me say good morning to you as well. Great friend of mine, managing Tema Oil Refinery, doing great work. He's the man from Bunkrugu. I'm very sure I pronounced the constituency very right. And Edmond Combat, good morning to you. And then also, let me say good morning to Alhaji Mustafa, who is the deputy, and everybody else. Chairman Godwin Tamaklo, of course, and then COP Taikujo of the Ghana Police Service. Great man. Your wife's called Agnes as well. And all those who tend to watch us, Prince Nanea York, and Kwesi Mensah lives in Albany, New York.
Richard Mante.
Yeah, Chief Mante, Nakosombo, the rest of everybody else watching us. I'll bring Ponkaba, Zilis Dwayne, Neo Date Mills lives in Finland.
Randa Shaw.
Family. And then we have some locals like
like
Prince Zach. That's Prince Henry Kofodia. Zach, who lives in Master Planner Junior.
Yes.
He's a strong MPP man, always watching us. You know,
hey, how's Alhaji?
You know they boycotted, but they came back. Yeah.
Has he been calling
Alhaji Bino Yerobo Shell, everybody else. We're grateful. Today we have
Peter T.
Yeah, Peter T. Always asking of you. Mejina.
They're all doing well.
And today we have an interesting package because we're going to start off because the Black Stars. You know, we sent Cookie T as an ambassador from Newday to go and monitor the coaches because we knew that the GFA will sack the Black Star coach.
Oh my God.
So we called Ket Kreku and asked him, can we, join Cookie T to the tour of Europe to go and scout for coaches? So we came with the new Black Star coach. We're going to have the health minister in the studio as well today. Because today, Charlie, great package. We are doing everything. Okay. Now, what are you doing for British?
Yeah, so we'll be looking at that as well. Yes. So the Universal Primary Healthcare Policy that will be launched today, supposed to last between 2026, as in this year, and 2028. So we'll be talking about that on the big issue. But also the AI at the ports, the publican, it's really creating a lot of issues.
It is.
Yesterday, there were a lot of confusion. There was a lot of confusion at the place. And they held a press conference, the freight forwarders, declaring a 4-day strike. Publican. Yes, that's the name of the AI there.
For me, I love it.
Yeah.
Even though when you watch the video, the gentleman in white is a great friend of mine.
Who, Awingobit?
No, Awingobit.
Okay.
The gentleman who addressed the press conference. There's a guy beside him.
The Mensa guy.
Yeah, he's called Zelo.
Okay.
That's, So, great guy. He's a strong friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he's against the thing. So yesterday I called him. I said, why you people?
Yes.
So he gave me his reasons.
But I don't know what to think of it. It definitely is an error. There's no way
you would clear a car for 69,000 last year, and this year you're paying 7.8 million. But some of the experts who deal with all these tech stuff, you know, the tech-savvy people, especially when it comes to AI, you know, it depends on the kind of prompts you give it for it to give you a response. So the basic question I asked when I started to hear it was, what kind of prompts are they feeding the AI? What are they telling it? What are they inputting into it?
So the gentleman in white there, Zelo.
Oh, the one with the
good
beard.
morning to you, Zelo. Good
the one
morning.
with the beard.
Yeah, he went to Ketasco. That guy. So I spoke to him yesterday. Stubborn guy. He was telling me some things. I said, hey, we'll arrest you. We want revenue for Ghana.
Yeah, the one in black was actually on agenda last week.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about it and really upset and even accused the officials there.
I think it's an error.
If the AI comes out, let's say with 100 cities, and 200 cities, they will pick the highest.
Hold on. It is an application that uses AI features to be able to detect. So basically what it does is that, based on my understanding, you're supposed to bring in goods. The goods with this new application, then co-devise the goods in a certain category. And it makes an assumption, an average assumption that the item is supposed to cost X. So if you bring a value of the item or a cost of the item, that's FOB, for it to cost, let's say, Y, because of the average cost of the good from the destination or across the various destinations of supply, it is going to categorize the good as X. So if you brought the good and said that maybe it is 10 Ghana cedis, and then the application that is the
Publican
categorizes that as 25 Ghana cedis, then you have to come and then justify why yours is 100 or it's 10 Ghana cedis. So they have a complaint. You know, at the port, you know, things happen. You know, they don't like the system. So I don't know how the government is going to win this war. But the point is that these people, they bring the goods. They supply us the goods. And so if they decide to give government a hard time, it's going to be difficult. But the most important thing is that since the implementation of this, revenues have gone up. Okay? So revenues have gone up. That's a justification, meaning that importers are categorizing or undervaluing the goods at the prices of the goods they bought.
In fact, the problem was what you call misclassification.
So basically, if you declare that you bought the good at 10 Ghana cedis, you're going to pay a corresponding value.
Yes, of 10 Ghana
But if you say the good, which is, let's say, this phone or this tablet, was bought at 25 Ghana cedis, the duty is going to go up. So logically, any importer will decide to reduce the price.
But the rates they are quoting now, it's
from thousands to millions.
Exactly. So I spoke to other importers as well, and they say when you go to China, for example, and that's their point of view, you have the same dress and put them on so that people will see the dress. So let's say this is name one of the female designers.
Lauren Haute Couture.
Okay, this one, Lauren. Lauren from wherever, Xinjiang or wherever they do that. So you have grades of this.
Of this one, yes, that's true though.
So you're going to have grades. So if an importer in Ghana goes to buy low grade,
she could say she bought hers for 2 cedis.
Yes.
But the system has an average rate at which it quotes.
The publican is going to categorize it as an average good of Lauren, which costs, let's say, $100.
Right.
Discounting the fact that when you go to China, you're going to have grades of goods. So that is their argument as well. So the point is that, well, if I brought this good into the system, how do I make sure that I am able to get the opportunity to justify that, well, from FOB or the price from my supplier, it was this. And then you have a system from the point of the Ministry of Finance and GRA to also go and verify that that supplier sold that good to you at 10 Ghana cedis, or let's say $10. Because now they only have two times in a week to be able to get complaints through. You know, so both sides have a justification. The revenues are up. It means that somebody is doing something wrong. And this one too, they are complaining. But we have to ask which one benefits the state? Which one doesn't benefit the
improvement
state?
from 69,000 to 7.8 million. That's outrageous.
There has to be a middle ground.
That's
to
outrageous.
deal with it.
We'll have to deal with it. But Anyway, so we'll take a look at that for the big issue,
yes,
right?
We'll do that,
okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And coming in last night also, there's, well, right now, not so much of a breaking news, but
yes.
I'm not sure whether it's good news for Ghana or it's terrible news because we've just got 2 months to the World Cup. Well, we've said goodbye to Coach Otto Addo and we've welcomed Portuguese tactical coach. The key word here is tactical.
Yeah.
Tactical coach Carlos Queiroz. He once coached all those who love Real Madrid. I'm sure they'll be happy by now. He was once coach of Real Madrid. Well, there are some statistics on him, and the question we just want to ask this morning, if you had the opportunity to speak to our new coach of the Black Stars, Carlos Queiroz, what would you tell him? We have just 2 months to head to the World Cup. Already some of the players will not be showing up, and
yes.
I'm not sure if there's been any other news from the camp of Kudus. We know that Kudus may not feature in the World Cup this year, but we'll take the montage for this morning. We'll get on the phone lines, activate the phone lines, so you talk to us that if you had the opportunity to meet Coach Carlos Queiroz one-on-one, what would you tell him ahead of the World Cup? Welcome to This Morning.
Carlos Queiroz is one of the most experienced coaches in this year's World Cup, having led no less than 3 national teams to World Cup final tournaments and Iran for 2 tournaments in a row now. Coaching Iran is one of the most difficult tasks in the world as the team suffers more than the usual setbacks year on year. Sanctions and stigma mean that even finding teams to play friendlies against them is often impossible. And yet Queiroz and his brave team of young footballers almost defeated the mighty Argentina in 2014, but for a typical wonder strike from Messi and a suspicious failure of the referee to award an obvious penalty. Queiroz is one of the game's great coaches. He has coached 4 national teams, Real Madrid, and spent 6 years on and off as Alex Ferguson's right-hand man at Manchester United. His winning record as a coach stands at 55%. Alex Ferguson described Queiroz in his autobiography as brilliant, just brilliant, outstanding, an intelligent, meticulous man. He was the closest you could be to being the Manchester United manager without actually holding the title. The team he brings to this World Cup.
All right, welcome back to TV3 Newday. This is the This Morning segment, and we're taking a look at the newly appointed Black Stars coach, Carlos Queiroz, who is a Portuguese tactician, and we have so many expectations. Well, he sent in his acceptance speech, and this is what he had to say. He says, "Today, I accept the mission with the same passion and commitment that have guided me throughout my career. Ghana is a nation of talent, pride, and a footballing soul. I arrive with respect for its history and believe in its future. Together, with unity, discipline, and ambition, we will work to honor the expectations of a great football nation. This is not just another job, it is a mission. I am ready to give everything of my experience and knowledge once again in service of the game and happiness of the people." And when we talk about football, it's one thing that unites Ghanaians and brings us a lot of happiness. So, oh yeah, then that's one it will bring you a lot of headache. But yes, Roland is on standby to take us through some of the things that we need to know about Carlos Queiroz. What do we know about him so far?
Well, so far, apart from just indicating that he's been able to also get the job, he's also in a state where he says that the the mission he has, he is in a position to be able to know. Now, we'll tell you the number of coaches, the clubs that he's coached. We know that Real Madrid is one as well. And then also the many countries that he's managed, and some of them include Portugal, South Africa, Portugal, Iran, Colombia, Egypt, and Oman. And so it's very important for us to look at the perspective of a coach who is coming from a country that's close to the Mediterranean, but also coached countries of same like, all right? And we're talking about South Africa, because we're in Africa as well. And then he's coached Egypt. Okay, so that also gives us a certain perspective. And after that, you know, we're talking about countries that, you know, have a lot of sunshine, heat, etc. And he's coached a number of them as well. There's Iran. Apart from Egypt, there's also Qatar. And then there's Oman. And so when it comes to the Gulf regions, he's been able to do it.
So it means that heat will not be a problem for him at all.
And then generally dealing with
Africans.
African players and players who have that sort of mindset will not be a difficulty for him. And then trying to get the best out of them. Because currently, the news for the Black Stars going into the World Cup is that we have a number of our key players either injury prone or injured, so to speak. But of course, the eve of the World Cup does indicate who can be in the team and who may not necessarily be in the team. Because somebody could be on the bench, has recovered from injury, is not match fit, will come and play some 20 minutes, 30 minutes, etc. And he seems to be the man who could take us there. Importantly also, he has history and then the pedigree to be able to be respected by the professional players as well. Because it's very important for you to get the attention of the players. You know, if you get any one-zam coach, it means that the professional players like Semenyo plays for Man City, you know, and if you're not getting the result as his national team coach, for you to get his attention is a bit difficult. Or Kudus, or if he's well, or let's say Pate if is well and gets into the team, you know. And so he has the pedigree, he has a history, and individuals who have practiced sports journalism like Michael Otieje will tell you that he comes with the respect, the authority, and if you're facing, let's say, you know, a group of players who are just young, they've seen some of the best coaches in the world, like Pep Guardiola, and you're talking to them, it has to be like for like.
In our local parlance, in Chiomkas, in
But I'm not too surprised that he ended up being the coach, because I remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, when I had that conversation with Bill, there were 3 Portuguese at the time who were, you know, being considered. And I remember he being selected out because of his experience in Africa, because the terrain on the continent is different from what you'll experience elsewhere. So, well, I would just say congratulations to him, and it's a big task, really.
Yeah, so Prince Nana York in the UK, for example, says that his task is to enable Ghana win the World Cup. I don't know how that's done.
Well, let's take a look at some of his statistics as well. He's won some matches. He's lost some as well. Let's take a look at that one, really, if you... Yes, there you have it. Really.
Well, so, you can even just take us through and let's see.
Okay, so matches played so far, 16. He has 4 wins, 4 draws, 8 losses. Goals scored 19 and goals conceded also 19. And yesterday, from the corridors of social media, people were saying that if he's lost 8 matches versus winning 4 and drawing 4, do we really think that he's got the capacity to take Ghana to the World Cup? Not just to take us to the World Cup, but to see us through probably the round of 32, round of 16, and maybe, just maybe, quarterfinals, semifinals. Well,
La ilaha illallah.
Your guess is as good as ours.
La ilaha illallah.
We are yet to interact with him and know exactly what he feels about being here as our coach. But the telephone lines have been activated. Share your thoughts with us. Let's know if our new Black Stars coach, Carlos Queiroz, is the man of the moment who can actually give us the results that we are looking for as a football nation. I think the last time we shone brightest at the World Cup was in 2010, South Africa. Many of us got broken hearts after that one. 2014 in Brazil didn't go quite well for us as well. And after that, we haven't done... We've not done really well.
It's just been one heartbreak after the other.
So
sometimes we seem to score and all of us are excited, but we don't sustain that.
Exactly. Yes. And especially in the last two matches where we considered, was it 5-1 and 2-1? Ghanaians have not been too excited. So hopefully...
That's the Austria and the Germany, the friendlies.
Yes. And to think that he's got less than 100 days, you know, there's something in football called synergy.
Yeah.
Synergy is very important. Synergy amongst players, synergy between the coach and the players as well. And even on the technical bench, he's going to be working with other managers he's never worked with, you know. And sometimes getting used to the synergy and the energy sometimes takes time. So would he be able to do that in 100 days? I'm not sure what his English-speaking background also is. He's Portuguese. But of course, if he's been able to go to South Africa and Egypt, then
fairly he's able to communicate.
And even in Qatar and Oman, I mean, in the UAE, he communicates.
And with respect to the modern-day professional coaches who don't have their first language as English, they are all around. So that's why you're able to find Mbappe able to speak Spanish, etc. Because, you know, he trains himself knowing that one day I could be in Real Madrid or any other place. So I think they're able to do that.
But for me, the synergy you talk about, I will go back to what Roland said earlier about the pedigree of the person who is coming on. So even if you haven't established that relationship for that long, you respect that this guy has done it and he could take us somewhere.
All right. Calls trooping in already, and I'm told, is it Abubakar we have on the line already? Good morning to you, Abu. Welcome to TV3 Newday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Talk to us.
Our problem in Ghana is not about the coaches. Our problems have to do with the players. I believe currently Ghana does not have professional players. We have foreign players. Those days when we have professional players, even when you get two of them in the blaster and they are playing, you can see the difference. You can see that really these people are professionals. So we must look for professionals, not just foreign players. Because Ghana, before you realize, they say a player is playing a team here. He has scored a goal, then they bring it to blaster. You say a Ghanaian have rising up in this club, then they bring it into blaster. That is the cause of the blaster. It is not the coaches. So I think if you can sit down and then analyze things well and get a real professional players for the blaster, we will take back our glory. Thank you very much.
Thank you too for calling and for making it very short. I'm told, is it Nyamiche or K-Trey?
K-Trey.
K-Trey is also on the telephone lines. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us here on TV3 Newday.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, K-Trey, good morning. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tatale, Northern region.
Okay. Let's hear you. What do you have to say about our new coach, Carlos Queiroz? Less than 100 days to the World Cup.
Okay. First of all, my greetings to you. You are doing very well. God bless you, TV3. But I enjoy your program very well. God bless you.
Thank you. Bless you too.
Okay. What I want to say is that our players, in fact, they should do their best to support the coach. When it comes to they come to Africa or Ghana, if they are not killing themselves as they are playing for foreign countries. So I'm just praying to them. I'm only telling them that they should do their best when they come to Ghana. And they should try. When our local coach was sacked by me, paid me. The players are not supporting the local coaches. I don't know why they see a white man, they respect a white man than as compared to
K-Trey, what's your point exactly?
Yeah, I'm listening, madam.
What's your point exactly? Then I'll pass out because I'm a little confused as to exactly what you want to say.
What I'm trying to say is that the players are supposed to support, to do their best.
Okay.
They should kill themselves.
Okay.
So that they can give us some happiness.
Definitely.
This is what I want to say. The problem is not about the coaching.
All right.
The players themselves.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too for calling us.
But my greeting to former deputy chairman, Question Point, Tatale.
Very well, thank you. So he thinks it's the players and not the coach. Another caller on the line.
Yes,
Beatrice.
we do have Nana Kwame on the line. Good morning to you, Nana. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Beatrice. Good morning, Roland. Good morning, Cookie T.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Cookie, welcome back.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, this is Nana Kwame calling from Kumasi. Let me use this opportunity to thank the GFA and the ministry for bringing a coach who can control our dressing room. You see, in football, if you are a coach and you can control your dressing room, the players will do well. So as for this coach, to me, Nana Kwame, I know he will do well. Though we will not win the World Cup, but he will take us far. Another thing we have to teach the GFA and the players is that we have national anthem and Ghana pledge. On Ghana pledge, we put our hands on our chest. National anthem, we don't put our hands on. So they should teach the boys to stop putting their hands on their chest. They should teach the boys. And the GFA they are doing this. When you go to school, the pledge, you put your fingers on your chest, your hand on your chest. But for the national anthem, you see the security, your hands on your side, not putting on chest. This thing is going on. And it's not right for our football. So they have to teach the boys to stop those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nana Kwame, calling in from Kumasi in the Ashanti region.
I wanted you to ask him how old he is, because it also goes with the generation.
Yeah. We have another caller on the line, though. Let's just take him very briefly. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name, where you're calling us from.
Yeah, I'm Oscar. I'm speaking from Kumasi.
Yes, Oscar. Thank you for joining us. Please share your thoughts with us.
Thanks a lot. With appointing Coach Quares is a nice decision for the Black Stars. And then I think that for me, the only one question I would ask him is that what are the measures you're going to put in place for us to win all the time? Because he's not an ordinary coach. I know the pedigree of the coach is very high. He's a good coach. We have coached so many countries and winning other trophies and other stars. But my point is that what will be the measures for him to put in place? Because you have only 100 days for you to start the World Cup, and it's not easy. Even tactical alone is not the point right now. So you should put things in place so that, and also my advice to the boys is that you should be very disciplined and also be obedient on the pitch, because there's sometimes we Ghanaians. When we have a local coach and then he's trying to order or he's trying to put things in place, we don't follow. But this man is a tactical man, and then I think we should follow his instructions. But my point is, he should put certain measures in point so that we can win. Because if you don't win, you will sack him as well. And then Ghana will be like always sacking. Yes, Ghana, that's what happens. We are like always sacking. Because Utuado did well, even though it was not up to expectation. But looking at the moment we sacked him was very critical. But that's not the case. It just happened. So what do we say? Right now we have invited this international and this world coach. So my point is, we should collaborate with him, and also we should put certain measures on the pitch so that we can proceed to a certain stage. But because at the group stage and we just disqualify us, this is not what we want. We want something progressive, something that will add value to Ghana as a whole.
Sure.
Because we all enjoy football, and then football is bringing us excitement. So, Coach Quares, you are welcome to Black Stars. Please
Thank you.
put good measures on ground so that you can win. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
right.
Expectations already rising.
Another caller is on the line. Hello, good morning. This is TV3 Newday.
Hello, good morning.
Yes. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, I'm being up from Tamale, calling from Tamale.
Okay. Your thoughts on our new coach?
We are happy having a new coach, but that should be end there. I am thinking that, like the elder caller said, mostly is on the players, not the coach. If the players want a coach to succeed, they will give out their best. Okay. But most of the times you look at it, you be like, we call these international players on board, and they don't give out their best. And when we go to their international teams, we can see what they can perform over there. So I'm just appealing that Ghana likes football. There come a time that, for me, if we are to play a football match and I don't eat food, in fact, if they score us, I can't eat again. But now I have given up for that because I know that when we are going in, it's 50-50. Either we win or we lose. I don't give out my best to them. So let's tell the players and the team that Ghanaians are behind them. They should give out their best. They should stop that lackadaisical attitude. Look, when we start a match, you will see that they will put in the energy. After scoring one goal, they will go back to the slow motion, be there, and they will equalize, and then you will see that they will come back with the strength again. Okay. Why won't you maintain that energy to the end? Okay. So, Ghana's problem is not about the coach, but it's about the players. Now they don't give out their best. Right. But when they go to their international teams, you can see how they play. They give out their all. We want that energy. We want that energy back. Okay. So that we as Ghanaians and the spectators will give them our 100% support. Thank you very much.
Thank you too for calling us. We'll get into some messages now. Courage Kotuka says, if he had the opportunity, he would tell the coach 5 things. He should dissolve the technical team, not listen to any external influences, unite the team, build a good relationship with all the players, and bring back Dede Ayew.
Wow.
That's what he says. Ronnie, you've got messages.
Oh, I have a couple.
Yes.
I have a couple. This one is from Olivia Paribia. Says, I just love the new Ghana coach, and I'm hoping that some of the finest players will be put together to blend, irrespective of perhaps not having Thomas Partey or even Kudos in the team. And says happy birthday to lawyer Bafo Jewu Bonsu Ashia. So happy birthday to you, lawyer Bafo Jewu Bonsu Ashia as well. And then Alhaji Jibril of National Security says that this is good news. I thought I would have gone for Hervé René, but we went for this one as well. Yeah. I guess Hervé René would have been more expensive for the government of Ghana and then the Ghana Football Association. But nonetheless, this is good news, just less than 100 days to the World Cup. And I hope that we can do well. Say good morning to the Director General of the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority for me, Alhaji Jibril of National Security there. And Abbas Amokobo in Offenso says that we wish the new Black Stars coach well. He should just make us proud, and we will love him. Sheikh Abubakar Ali Napar is the president and founder of the Light Foundation. Good morning to you. Says that I think the new coach will use his experience to manage some egos in the Black Star team and the players as well, especially the foreign-based players. How many local ones we have apart from
We have a few. We have a few, but of course the goalkeeper, SM for life.
SM for life. SM for life. And then I have 2 more, and then I see the time to you to read other messages. Okay. Nyodega Tukwekwe says, with the Port AI initiative, those involved must adapt to change and learn to understand the system. And then Ghana can get the revenue. And then with our new coach, what I can tell him is to be focused and not allow the GFA to select players for him, as always has been alleged. And it's good that you said it's an allegation. Shari Giovanni is the last one, says that I will tell the new Black Stars coach, Carlos Queiroz, to keep his heads up and call up players that he knows can't deliver, because some high-ups in Ghana are manipulative and may try to allow the players to also control him. He must take charge and act decisively.
Wow.
Well, Prince Henry Kofodia says, I have a feeling that Queiroz will do better than Otuado. Ghana will be at the semi-finals this year. I'm not sure how true that is, but we'll see. Another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to TV3 Newday. Abdul Rahman.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, good morning. Abdul, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Yendi. This is Morgan.
Okay, Yendi. All right, talk to us.
Yendi.
Yendi.
Yes, where the overlord is staying.
Very well.
Overlord.
Very well. Go ahead, please.
Greetings, Roland, for me. My greetings coming to your staff, everybody there. Please, I'm praying to Black Star that may Allah lead them through to bring us this in the cup. So I'll pray go to our new coach, to lead this in the team very well so that we'll go through. And I'll stand here and use your platform to greet my consultant chairman, like Baba Ghazali. It's a good man for the NPP party in the year. He's doing well for the constituency. We pray that God should choose him back for us to continue his work. And also greet the former MP, Alai Farfali Mama, the hard-working MP. This our new MP is not working. Jufra is not working. Madam, it's not working. Yeah, so we'll change him. We are going to change him. It's not working.
Another time we'll talk about it. But thank you so much for calling us. And I'll pick this one and I'll hand over to you. Alaji, how are you? Jawasem. You said you sent plane tickets. You said you sent plane tickets. You didn't send plane tickets. You said you sent shopping money. No shopping money.
Outside of the country. And you didn't tell me. Oh.
Because you didn't send money for the plane ticket and you didn't send money for shopping. That's why I didn't tell you.
But because of you didn't tell me, how can I send money for the plane ticket?
How didn't you know that I was traveling if I'm your wife? How didn't you know?
If you tell me, I will send the money for the plane ticket.
Alaji, good morning.
Alaji, that's about.
Nah,
Alaji, Gambian. And
Nah.
But let me send my greeting to Shamima and he has Alaji Alasan and Chairman of Sampo. But yesterday actually we left our father, Chairman of Sampo. For me, our father raised in peace and Dr. Bukaru in the municipality in Alasan Bagama. You see, Ghana, we need to increase the supporters. Maybe the supporters there. If we play well, I think we're happy. But sometimes, if we get the good coach and our players did not play well, do you think we can win the match? Really? If we get the good coach and the coach can coach the team well, and our players did not play well, and they play the selfish, I think we will not win any match. So we should keep on playing for the country. This 2026 trophy there, we need to take it into this country. Do you know that? I know Ghana will win the 2026 trophy.
Ghana will win the 2026 trophy. Which one? The World Cup?
The World Cup.
We'll win it.
I like his face.
We'll win it.
Okay.
So no doubt about that.
Okay.
So I think we will bring Rice Pikabagun as our coach because Rice Pikabagun know how to coach. When he gives the directive, I see the directive and
Alaji, he's not the one we are talking about. We are talking about Carlos Queiroz. Do you think that Carlos will be able to help us win the cup like you're saying?
Yeah. It can help.
Then that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alaji, for calling us. I'm told Sani from Wale Wale is on the line.
Sani joins us. Good morning to you, Sani.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you, my sister?
Doing very well. How are you yourself?
Yes, I'm also fine. And then I want to welcome Cookie back to Ghana. It's just that you didn't greet me, or you didn't remember when you were greeting Alaji and Co. And I was always asking of Cookie T. Where are you? Where are you?
Sani, forgive me. You are one of my fans. I'm so sorry that I didn't ask about you. Forgive me. But special good morning to you, Sani from Wale Wale.
Yes, I'm fine. I've forgiven you. Just to say that, just to ask that, what have you brought there for me?
I brought a lot of snow. It's in the studio here. Come for yours.
Also in Wale, so I want some.
No problem.
Yes. Okay. So I want to say that I'm also very happy about this new coach. Yes. When you look at his profile, in fact, the experience is there. Taking Iran and then South Africa to the World Cup and some of the major teams in the world to the World Cup. I think he have a good profile. But our problem, Ghana, is that it's not that we are also hungry for going to the World Cup. We have also been there for several times, several occasions, I think about 5 or 4 times. Okay, so that one is not our problem. Our problem has always been how to cross the first round, okay, and then also deliver so that the world will know that Ghana, yes, we have also come there. So it's not about just going to participate and come back home. No, we want deliverance. Do you understand? So how is he going to blend the players? You know, we have a lot of them, experienced one, okay, both local and international, and they are doing quite well for their respective teams. So how is he going to blend them so that we will be able, if not even win the World Cup, but also come back with something, okay? And I also want to advise him that, look, we have over 35 million coaches in Ghana because everybody has a stake with regards to whatever goes to the Black Stars. We are all watching patiently for what they do. So we are going to criticize him. After that one day, you should prepare. So if he doesn't understand English, he needs to get an interpreter so that he will be telling him what we are saying with regard to every mood that he takes. We are going to criticize him for that so that it will enable him to deliver. And then finally, I'm interested about the details of the contract. Because our former coach, they were paying him $50,000 a month. Do you understand? And then what they never do is they even gave him upfront payment for the year. Okay, so they will pay him 6 months. Okay, so that before the year ends. And every match that he won, he was also given $10,000 as a bonus. And we thought it was it was too high. So we want to do some kind of comparative. How much are they paying this coach so that we'll be able to know everything before he starts. So, but I want to wish him well and then wish that, yes, we are able to bring the World Cup to Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sani from Wali Wali. I'll just read just a few of your messages. This is from Idi Amin here. He says, Beatrice, good morning, please. I'm not in football, but I beg you guys, don't overhype the coach. Let Ghanaians see how practical he is. It's not about his CV. They should invest in the players. I don't believe our problem is a coach, but our problem is political interference. Idi Amin, thank you very much. Mr. Simon Yen from Wa says, Carlos Queiroz, with such a wonderful pedigree as the Black Stars' new coach, we expect Ghana to travel beyond the quarterfinal stages in this year's World Cup. Good morning, Beatrice, Roland. Cookie, you are welcome back from the West.
Thank you. Rolly, I have greetings for you from Kester. He says, when I say Kester, Business Development Manager at Republic Bank, you will know who it is. So good morning to you, Kester.
Kester, good morning.
Yes, I met you yesterday. You're amazing. Thank you very much for sending in your message. Rolly, do you have more or I should
have
take
a couple of messages.
Okay.
This one is coming from Alhaji Kupson and says that everyone is talking about a new coach, but no one is telling us a salary a month.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because this one,
so
and then Majina sends a long one, and then even adds videos.
Hey. Oh, wow.
Yeah, of his own interactions over the period, over the last period. The last few hours. But he said, let me also touch on something many people avoid, yet it's very important in our context, and that is the spiritual dimension of football. In this country, we cannot pretend that spirituality does not play a role in our national life, including sports. We've been in situations where clergymen and spiritual leaders give prophecies about the Black Stars, some even cautioning against certain decisions like sacking individuals or making changes with the team. Yet, sometimes these decisions were taken or are taken regardless, and says that the right things need to be done. Football may be played on the pitch, but in Ghana, many believe that success is influenced beyond the pitch as well.
Did one caller say that Otuado receives 10,000 after every match?
Yes, after every win. After every win. Yes, that's bonus.
That's not true. There's information coming in from one important person from the GFA, and he says that's not true.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's move on to other things. We're talking about pecking up your day, the Milky Way with the rich, smooth taste of Peck Milk Shortcake. It's pure delight. Please make sure that you get some for you, your friends, and your family. Thank you to all of you who sent us messages. Prudential Livingston says there are so many problems in the GFA, interference and corruption, so the coach must make sure that he does not follow suit. As long as we, the Okay, I think I'll just leave it there. I get the input of the message.
Very quick one from Mr. Siving Pen. Good morning, Beatrice. Cookie and my in-law, Papa Roll.
Hey.
I didn't know that. Roland, you have to bring the bride price before you keep admiring and salivating over my beautiful daughters.
Hey, Boogie Brown, there's a message.
My daughters must keep their distance from Papa Roland. So he comes up to
I'm distancing myself from this person.
Charlie, there's a gentleman called Boogie Brown. He says Cookie and Beatrice are looking queerosely glamorous and cookish.
Wow.
Ain't he Carlos Queros and Wamba Sisi and Odina public sentence, you know. All right, another message. Kwame Acidity says, good morning, all of you. Carlos Queiroz, welcome to Ghana. This is the kind of coach Ghana is looking for. Special greetings to National Serial Callers Association of
There's a last message, and I think that we need to take hindsight of this. This one's coming from Felix, Felix, says that let's not forget that the coach's average win per World Cup is less than one game. So Ghanaians should lower their
expectations.
Anyway, it's better to have low expectations than to have a high one and you'll be dropped like that. All of you who have sent us your messages, Aziz Dola and Fakaki and the rest, thank you very much for sending in your messages. We're unable to read all of them, but thank you. Yes.
Well, the Business Financial Times, I thought I was going to take that before we go on break, but I think it's time to take a break now. We'll be right back with a big issue.
Every woman deserves hair that looks and feels amazing. It starts with the right product. BO16. After relaxing, your hair needs serious care. BO16 neutralizing shampoos
If you monitored the news, you saw that the associations of freight forwarders and traders came up in arms against this very AI application, saying that it is quadrupling how much they are supposed to pay in terms of duties and other inconsistencies currently happening at the ports. They've already declared a 4-day strike and are asking the government to suspend this application, as it were, until they believe that the right things have been done for a win-win situation moving forward. So we'll be going into that and really what we need to do and whether or not these proposals coming in from them are realistic enough for the government to implement in order not to lose money at the revenue, but also not to stifle business at the port. We'll be going into that. And also we understand that the Health Ministry or the government will be launching the free universal health care to ensure that people have access to good health care, particularly for those with diabetes and other diseases. This is expected to last between this year, 2026, and 2028. The Health Minister will be giving us more details on that later, but we'll be going into that as well. I do have on the panel with me Mr. Sylvester Tete, who is on my immediate right, former Deputy Minister of Information. Good morning to you, sir. And also former MP for English Yamanfro, right? Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
I also do have on the panel with us Mr. Hamza Suini, member NDC Communications team. It's great to have you here again, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll have joining us very shortly as well Dr. Ramsey Inusa, who is the Research Director for the United Party. And we do have a video call with us, Mr. Eddie Akon, former President, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Mr. Akon, if you can hear us, good morning to you. Thank you also for joining us via video call.
Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
So perhaps I can start with you, really, Mr. Tete. Let me get your thoughts briefly on Black Stars getting a new coach. That was announced last night, a Portuguese, Carlos Queiroz.
Well, good morning to you. Good morning to my friend Suhini, and then to our viewers, and more importantly to the MPP fraternity around the world. I think that when we fired Otuado, I made a statement that the timing is wrong. It's the wrong timing. We've handed somebody an opportunity to give us excuses. I mean, you have how many days to the World Cup? And this is a coach who is not familiar with our terrain, who is not familiar with our players. The call-up, he will heavily rely on things we've complained about in time past.
He's coached South Africa, Egypt. You don't think that that's enough to have an idea of what Africa looks like?
I mean, our team is ever-changing. Our team changes a lot. And for me, what we've always criticized our GFA with is influencing who gets to play. And this is a coach who is not familiar with our players and those that we are lining up to call. So he will heavily rely on people we've accused in time past that they influence player selection to our national team. So for me, I have carefully looked at his history. The number of, he's played 16 World Cup games. He's won 4, he drew 4, and he lost 8. This is a coach we've selected for our Black Stars. I mean, it's much ado about nothing. For me, I thought that we should have kept Otuado, irrespective of the challenges we are going through. And for consistency's sake, we should have been a bit patient with our own systems. He doesn't possess any magical one for us. I believe in the Black Stars, I believe in Ghana, and I believe that we should do well. But honestly speaking, it was a hasty decision. The coach we've selected, he doesn't possess any magical one. We are going to rely on our own natural play. It is not going to make any impact in the team as we go forward.
Mr. Sweeney.
Good morning to you, and of course, good morning to my brother in the studio and our cherished viewers out there. And most importantly, I always say that your production team as well.
Yes.
Because of the work they continue to do, though unnoticed, but undoubtedly contributing meaningfully to national discourse of this nature, and hopefully in the long term informing government policy as well. So they are part and parcel of that particular agenda, and we must continue to recognize them, the production team. So thanks for their continued service. Well, I lost interest in the activities of the Black Stars I think, ages ago.
Oh, you
I don't know whether it was Barcelona 94, 92 or something like that. when for an entire night I couldn't eat because of the experience I had. And my dad immediately after took a decision that any football match, I wouldn't be invited to be part of those who would watch it. And I think that I have kept faith with that, especially when it comes to the Black Stars. And you see, what is happening with our Black Stars, in as much as I can understand the concerns of my brother, what is happening is simply a manifestation of what is happening in most aspects of our life as a country. The sudden problems that are beginning to emerge may appear sudden, but in reality, it is age-long. It has been with the Black Stars for some time now, and I do not think that just the substitution of a coach would provide that magic wand that we are looking for. It is institutional. The problems associated with the Black Stars is institutional in nature. And there's a need for us to begin looking at the institutional setup of the management team of the Black Stars. And also when it comes to selecting players, how these things are done. If it is ridden in corruption, be rest assured that no matter the number of coaches you replace, you will still end up getting the same result. So for me, I think that we must pay more attention to how our institutions, as far as GFA is concerned, how those institutions work and how we can perfect them, especially when it comes to player selection, how we can do well to at least curtail the undue influences that mostly inform the choice of selecting certain players. So these things are things we have to look at. Even if you bring the best coaches in the world and your institutional setup is still one that is challenged, be rest assured that we would not be able to do much. So I am hopeful as a Ghanaian as far as this World Cup is concerned. But you are not expecting much. But I'm not expecting much, to be honest with you. But I am very, very hopeful. But when it comes to my expectations, I think that it is better for me to more or less keep that in check.
Thank you very much. I want to come perhaps first to you on this conversation about the artificial intelligence publican at the port. And Mr. Idiakon, hopefully you can still hear us. You're former President, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. As somebody who has headed this organization, I believe you understand how the port systems work and perhaps would have an appreciation of this new system that's been put in place to deal with revenue losses. What's your general understanding of this? And then we will move into the agitations against this new application, as it were.
Okay, thanks for having me again, and greetings to your listeners. So basically, there's nothing wrong with artificial intelligence as technology, and where we are right now, the world over, in every field you might find artificial intelligence. The fields of health, whether it's being legal, agriculture, everywhere. The problem is this. Artificial intelligence, anyhow, they work on what we call the large language model. And so for any artificial intelligence, it has to be trained. And I mean properly trained to do what it has to do before you lodge it into a certain live situation like we have. Because on a daily basis, what customs are doing their basic duties of what? Valuing cargoes, all right? Valuing goods. So our understanding was that the publican AI was to only come and guide customs in their valuation processes. Now, but going forward, we chanced on a certain memo that had been sent to officers telling them, instructing them that basically just accept what the AI publican tells you is the value of the goods, if it's the highest value. If not, and your valuation is even higher than the publican AI value, then take your value. Now, that is where the problem is, because valuation is one of the most thorny issues the world over. And the World Customs Organizations and World Trade Organizations, for which we are signatories to, have all come up with a certain way of valuing goods, and it is in our laws. So if you pick the Act 891, which is a customs law of 2015, Section 67, it tells you exactly how goods that come into the country should be valued. So it's a very straightforward matter. But fast forward, what happens? The AI, like I said, has been put in place, and strangely, it is churning out some incredible values for which the traders cannot pay duties based on. Okay? Our system needs predictability. If you are importing stuff, you have a certain idea that this is how much I paid for the goods. So based on the tax rates ad valorem, this is how much I am going to pay. Suddenly, if let's say you're paying 30,000 and it jumps to 2.7 million, then you're going to have problems. You understand? Now, the other thing is that for any situation like that, you need an appellate system where once you've done, the value has been done for you and you disagree, then you have to appeal. That is what is causing the problem seriously right now, because all the appeals are being rejected. That go and pay. We have several situations we can list, some of which are, like seriously outlier situations. You understand? And so the traders are unable to pay the duties, and nobody is working on the appeals. The problem here is that whatever we do in the ports, at the airport, the land frontiers, and the seaports, all of these things are time bound.
Mr. Akron, how do you say that nobody is working on the appeals? Because we had the president, even at the Kwahu Business Forum, saying that the number of complaints were increasing and urged the stakeholders involved to, as it were, double up on how many times they are able to hear these complaints so they are able to resolve them in time, bearing in mind demurrages, among others. You're claiming that they are not looking at those issues?
Exactly. I had the president as well. But the thing is that these things, they are just returning the appeals to us as declined. And so everybody knows that as a general word, declined for what? I'll give you a perfect example why I said so. A friend, does evaluation for some medication, okay? Now, we have what we call classification. We mean every item is classified. We have the classification, the HS code, and then you have the issue of the values. Now, both of these things can affect how much you're going to pay, because in some situations, under certain classifications, the duty might be 10% or it might be 20%. So it is very important. Now, he's been doing this particular item, he's been clearing them for the past 20 years, and the classification is known. We put this in, out comes the classification, has been classified under something else. So he appeals it that, look, I don't have a problem with the value, but the classification, you misclassified this thing. You understand? Guess what the reply that came to him? Declined. AI, the publican AI, agrees with the value that, you've been given. Now here, this is what is telling about that reply that came. You can see it was automated because the man was, challenging or appealing the classification, not the value. But then you get a reply saying, the AI probably can accept the value. So you know that it's just automated. They didn't even look at it.
But again, we've also heard from stakeholders, particularly those, the GRA, the Finance Ministry, among others, that this publican is not supposed to replace the integrated customs management system. It's rather to augment it. So when you say this is automated, I'm just wondering where you draw the fine balance when it's supposed to augment a system that's already working rather than an independent thing doing a thing of its own self.
Wonderful. So when we raised issues with that memo that went to the officers, instructing them to use, the AI's value or whether theirs is higher, whichever is the highest, they should use it. When we raised that thing that they had a problem with the law, then they walked back on it, said maybe it was a mistake as to how they did that, so they wrote a second one. Now, what it is that, like I'm telling you, it is still churning out these horrendous valuations that you can you imagine that, let's say, a Voxy, the Toyota Voxy, being valued at 7.9 million cedis. You tell me how that works. If you buy a microwave at, say, 900 Ghana cedis on the market, the duty for one microwave, the one that you buy, is now 750 Ghana cedis. Okay? So between you and I, it means in the next 2 weeks or so, if this guy is able to pay the duties even for that, then he comes out. Of course, then that microwave is going to go to like 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question before I come to the panel here. You made a point that for an AI system to work properly, it has to be trained.
Exactly.
The Finance Minister, Dr. Kasia Lato-Forsin, made mention of this during the mid-year budget review presentation in July 2025. This application came live, I believe, on the 11th of March. That's just last month. You're claiming, based on what you know, that between the time the Finance Minister talked about that and now, there wasn't any training to get this system working?
No. As to whether they have trained the AI and tested it before this, I cannot speak to that. But even us, amongst us, we were called just one time to a meeting at Oak Royal, right? That they had tested this thing, and so they were going to start using it. Of course, because it had not been started, we did not know the effect of it until it actually started. And we have several issues here. How can an AI, misclassify a Dodge Ram? It's a vehicle. Suddenly it classifies the Dodge Ram as a he-goat, as a male goat. You understand? So there are several problems with it. Like I said, AIs will have to be trained. And it causes serious blockades at a flour right now. There is a particular case of a manufacturer of chicken feed who has this husk, the wheat husk, right? At a couple of trucks there. This thing usually, on most occasions, is just raw material, and it pays about 30,000 Ghana cedis for the same weight of. Right now, the thing has been valued at 44 million Ghana cedis, and he's supposed to pay 2.7 million in duties. I don't think his small factory, this small business, even costs that much for him for the raw material to even come aside. But as we speak, nothing has been done about it.
Mr. Akron, I want you to hold on whilst I get the preliminary thought as well of my panel in studio. Mr. Suini, I want to start with you. It looks like this is really creating a lot of problems. Even ahead of that, if you remember, just about 3 months after the Finance Minister talked about it, we heard Guta executives saying that you should be focusing on rationalizing tax or the taxes at the port rather than bringing an artificial intelligence system, as it were.
And that is where I disagree. I disagree on the basis that, indeed, the port has always been a major place of concern to any government, not just the National Democratic Congress government, led by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. I remember somewhere 2017, when the MPP initiated steps to introduce what we call the paperless system. It was resisted fiercely by the Ghana Freight Forwarders Association, and they gave reasons why they opposed it. Subsequently, the CTN also was also introduced. We had challenges as far as the process was concerned, and issues of that nature. So this is not new. But the reality also is that there's so much when it comes to leakages that we need to deal with as far as our ports infrastructure is concerned. When it comes to revenue leakages, every finance minister in one way or the other have raised concerns about the leakages at the port. So for me, in principle, I am not against any attempt by the minister responsible for finance or Ghana Revenue Authority intending to more or less limit the kind of holes that are available or avenues that are available for many of our people to take advantage of, especially when it comes to the Ghana ports. And I say so because, look, there are instances where you go to want to pay duty. You are told that, look, this is the official duty of 200,000, but we are willing to bring it down to 100,000 if only you are willing to depart or give us 20,000 as a way of getting it down to that 100,000 for you. And the reasonable question to ask yourself is, where is the 20,000 Ghana cedis going? Ghana is losing, but those who are the interface are going to benefit at the expense of the state. So I do not have any issue, in principle, with the system trying to design mechanisms to check many of these things. But however, in designing those mechanisms, we also ought to be careful, either as a government or as an institution of state. In this regard, I'm talking about the Ghana Revenue Authority. I have had some engagements with the port for some years now. And I'm going to give my own personal example with this new policy. And I dare say that that also should be one of the reasons why the NDC must continue to be different when it comes to the politics of this country. It is true that since the introduction, there have been challenges. And
huge challenges, those doing business will tell you.
Yes, because I am a player in that industry. I've been bringing in containers with a friend of mine for God knows about 4 or 5 years now. And I can tell you as a matter of fact that the last container that we were bringing in, the duty we were supposed to pay on the containers was supposed to be around 220,000. On the 12th of March or so, the circular came from Ministry of Finance. The Republican AI, I think it is called, or something, is it Republican AI, generated values to the tune of 585,000 Ghana cedis for us to pay. Duty that were meant to pay at least approximately 220,000. We did everything trying to get it down. The best we could get was about 420,000 Ghana cedis. And the 420,000 Ghana cedis constituted about 60% of the cost of the items we're importing. So I have personal experience with it. And despite the fact that we had paid, it took us in excess of 2 weeks to be able to clear the containers.
Why?
Because of the bottlenecks. That's what we're told. And so in the process of that, we even had to pay a day's demurrage on the containers. So undoubtedly, I can understand the frustrations of the freight forwarders. And for me, as a government and as a listening government, I'm pretty much convinced that the minister responsible for finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority would engage them meaningfully, because those concerns they are raising are not concerns that we can just sweep under the carpet. Look, this is a government that has introduced so many things intended to alleviate the challenges of traders as far as the port industry is concerned. We succeeded in taking out the COVID levy. We have looked at the rationalization of the value-added tax system. That has also brought some measure of relief as far as imports and charges are concerned. So if an introduction of a policy threatens the significance of many of these interventions that the government introduced, intending to alleviate the plight of importers and freight forwarders, then it is important for us to engage meaningfully with them.
Beyond the engagement, they think that they've had enough. They accused stakeholders of not having enough consultations and are asking for a suspension of it.
I don't think that we have gotten to the stage where it needs to be suspended, in all honesty, regardless of the challenges that I have with the implementation of the system. Like I have enumerated, I'm a victim of it. I have experienced it. And I know how that can be frustrating. And the rippling effect of that is that, look, there's the tendency that even regardless of the gains we are making in terms of our inflation and exchange rate, there's the likelihood that prices of goods and services will continue to rise, largely because of the rippling effects of some of these bottlenecks associated with imports in the industry in our country.
But how do you keep a system that the people doing business there say is not fair, is quadrupling their
You don't need to suspend it. Amendments needs to be made.
But they are saying even when they complain, you complained and you resolved it in 2 weeks. They say their complaints are being declined.
No, I'm not even excited about the fact that it had to be resolved in 2 weeks. All what I'm telling you is that the sincerity of the introduction of that AI system cannot be downplayed, because we all know, as citizens of this country, that there are leakages when it comes to our port infrastructure. And it will be a focus area for any finance minister who is actually interested in raising the needed revenue for developmental projects in the country. And most importantly, in nipping the buds when it comes to corruption avenues. And so we must understand that the rationale behind the introduction of the AI's policy is rooted in sincerity, intending to serve the entirety of the nation. But albeit, we have discovered challenges. It is not supposed to be a point of confrontation between us and the government of the day. What actually should be is a meaningful engagement with these authorities so that we can sit down to see how we can perfect the system, Suspending the AI system will throw the entire port process to another chaos that we need to avoid.
But you already have the integrated systems there. So
that's the point. But this is meant to augment it. But I'm telling you that the work this is doing now cannot also be discounted. All what we need to do is to look at the AI system and look at how to perfect it. Amendments needs to be made. They are talking about the appeal system. For example, when we generated and it gave us the 585,000, we went through the appeal system and it brought it down to about 420,000. The 420,000 was still much higher than we knew we were paying at the time we were importing the containers, because it was supposed to be 220,000. But we ended up paying 420,000. And so when you bring these things to the attention of the government, and I've always said on many other different platforms that, look, we are fortunate to have a government that listens. My job on this platform, maybe as a party communicator, would have been to dismiss, like we witnessed in the past, dismiss the concerns of the Ghana freight forwarders. When paperless system was being introduced, we saw how party foot soldiers and communicators defended government to the hilt. But all what I'm saying on this platform is that, look, we are not claiming perfection when it comes to the introduction of the AI system. Undoubtedly, there will be problems. But those problems will be resolved as the policy is being implemented. We do not propose a suspension of the policy for negotiations to continue. When in actual sense, through the implementation process, we can have meaningful engagements and try to perfect that AI system so that it works in the interest of the state. So I can understand their frustrations. I can understand the rippling effect it will have on our economy. So their agitations are not only intended for the benefit of themselves. I know, as a matter of fact, that it is also intended to serve the entirety of this country because of the rippling effect that would have on prices on the streets. So the Ghana Revenue Commission Authority, the commissioner, I think that the time has come for them to engage more again. If they are not excited about the extent of engagement, we need to engage further and see how we can get this thing to work. I am for it fully, but albeit there are challenges that we need to resolve with the system.
There are challenges that we need to resolve in the system. Let me acknowledge the presence of Dr. Ramsey Inusa, who is Research Director for the United Party. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me get your thoughts, Mr. Sylvester Tete, on these challenges.
Well, for me, I think that what is the essence of this publican AI is to enhance customs valuation. First of all, it's not to check leakages. It is not.
It is part of it.
It's part of it.
It is not.
It's part of it.
It's
My
part
brother,
of it.
please. When you were talking
I
about
respect
it,
that. I respect that.
it is not. And what is doing now has proven that it is not to check leakages. Valuation. For instance, every vehicle has a value from the manufacturer, what we call the home delivery value. Okay? That you cannot dispute it. What we've done over time in law is to apply the necessary depreciation rate. So if the manufacturer of a vehicle, say the Voxy from Japan, is valued at $30,000, nowhere in the world can you dispute that. So when it gets to your jurisdiction, what is the applicable rate of depreciation and the exchange rate you apply to it? So you can sit in your home and know that this vehicle coming to Ghana, this is how much I'll pay. Because you know all our duty rates. So when it gets to the port, and now there's something called publican AI, has lifted your value from the $30,000 from the manufacturer to $40,000, you have every reason to challenge it. So this is cast in stone. Go and speak to the custom officers. They have what we call the home delivery value. So the source document. What we've had over time is falsification of invoices of goods. I go to the market. That is why we started doing the destination inspection. I go to buy mobile phones from maybe Korea, from China, from Taiwan, from UK. They don't have the same value. But because it's a mobile phone, I come here and then a publican AI says that I'm taking the highest value. The highest value could be coming from the UK. Are you getting what I'm saying? Look, this whole publican AI system they put in the port is to enhance. And yesterday, the Commissioner General was out there to say that in 2 weeks, they've increased revenue of the state by over 40%.
That's about on the 11th when the GRA boss spoke to the press. That's
Yes.
Anthony Sapon. He said that we've been able to rake in about 11 billion Ghana cedis in port leakages.
So I'm coming. What is the leakages we are talking about? If, like my brother said here, gave his own example, unless, of course, he's telling me the invoice value of the goods that has been charged over 100% is in doubt. Unless he's telling me that. Because if you go to purchase your goods from your manufacturer and you have the manufacturer's invoice, that is when we do the destination inspection and confirm the values from the manufacturer. Unless he's telling me that is accepted to pay 420,000 instead of 220,000. Over 90% increment. Is it a fault that you falsify the invoice? Or you can go to the manufacturer and confirm your invoice. This is trade. This is trade and practical. I import. I have my manufacturer. I've given you my manufacturer's address. Before I send money out of this country, I bring you what we call the import declaration form with my invoice. And you've permitted me to send an amount of money to the manufacturer. Because it's not my money. Government of Ghana provides the exchange for me to send to the manufacturer. So the value is already determined. So when I come and I clear, I send you the returns. Then you've approved $100,000 for me to my manufacturer. The goods has arrived in the country. Then at the point of clearance, you are saying that your invoice that you gave me and approved the forex for you to go and pay your manufacturer is now $300,000.
So you obviously disagree with the point of Mr. Suyini?
Of course, I do.
Then what really are you saying in terms of really what you see as regards
what
to
I see is a system put in place to enrich some people. And let me tell you why.
Why do you say
Yes,
that?
Please. You allow me to speak.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
That's why. I'm speaking and you are getting agitated. What I'm saying is that this contract is telling us that we are going to increase our revenue by 40 to 45%. Okay? And they will be paid a percentage of the revenue increase they get.
You do not think that they will be able to have a percentage because they know how much the country
How
will use
is
in trial?
what we are going through? The how is what we are saying. You see the examples they are giving you. You must go to the point of approving or disapproving the invoice values we are bringing. I'll give you an example of a vehicle. So if you sit at the comfort of your home and deploy a tool, that is not taking into consideration the home delivery value of a vehicle. Please, take your time and listen carefully. I'm saying that you import a Toyota Corolla. Toyota Corolla has a home delivery value, okay? You know that if the vehicle is 5 years and above, you have 50% depreciation. So if the value of the Toyota Corolla is $10,000, you depreciate it by 50%, you have $5,000. You apply the current rate of exchange, then you get your CI value. Then you apply your duty rate, your import levy, the VAT, so you can sit in the comfort of your home and do it. So the home delivery value of the vehicle is already established. Nobody can tamper with it.
But Mr. Tate, aside from the point you've made, you're making really wild claims
I'm
about
coming there. So you wait and listen to me.
people.
Wait and listen to me. I'm saying that you signed a contract for a company to increase your revenue. How? They are not telling us. What is turning out, what is turning out is unnecessary inflation of the rate to meet their threshold and get their money. That's the basic point.
And when you say enrich some people, which people are you talking about?
Who are the beneficiaries of this publican jail?
You have to tell us.
As of now, we are seeking the company, the contract. Do you have the contract? Do you have the contract? We want to see the contract and the beneficiaries. Because when you make the gains, you have a percentage you earn from it. And I'm asking how. The how is the question we are trying to answer now. And what is coming out from the port is nothing but astronomical increment of the values. And that is the problem. That is why people are agitating. Somebody has done a particular thing for over 20 years. It means that value has been accepted by customs. It means they've gone to the source and has attested to the value of the particular product. So if today you have gone to the source and approved the values, and you come to Ghana and they're saying that this is your value, we are not accepting your value, we are taking this value, you should have an appellate body to go and put all your evidence before them. So that's what I'm saying. That you said you usually pay 220,000 cedis.
Yes, and he said he went through the process. And
he went through the process. So that's what I'm saying, that in his case, perhaps he's accepted that the values he's been paying hitherto were not accurate values.
I think so.
Okay. That is a fair confirmation. So if you think in your case what you've been paying hitherto is not a fair value, that is fine. But there are people who had evidence, and even from their manufacturers, that what we've been paying is a true value of the goods.
Yes, it's possible too.
It is possible.
And if you could land for me so I can get a thought
so I'm saying that if you go by this system, it's a way to meet your threshold and be able to get your percentage. That is the problem.
I will come back to you on the way forward, really, because the people, we already know that the associations have declared a 4-day strike starting from today, and they are asking for the suspension of the system. Mr. Soyini already disagrees with that suspension idea. But Dr. Inusa, your thoughts?
Good morning to you. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to your cherished viewers and to my co-panelists. It's been a long time, Sly. Anyway, you know, the issue here has been well said by various stakeholders affected in this space. Indeed, I've always held the notion that in Ghana, we tend to use a lazy man approach when it comes to fiscal policy, burdening the ordinary citizens with a lot of indirect taxes rather than tackling direct taxes. Now, I do not see any issue in modernizing how we improve our tax revenues in terms of assurances, right? This publican AI system is a well thought through policy intervention by the government. However, what I do not see altering well for most discerning people in this country is how they fail to engage stakeholders before implementation. I think that has brought about all these challenges that we're seeing today. The rationale behind this intervention is as a result of massive leakages in our ports. Now, let me state the figures here. Between 2020 to 2025, Ghana had an import value of $127 billion, yet only $52 billion were declared through the customs system. So you can imagine where the rest went to. Just recently in our borders, there was a massive scandal where people would say that they're taking rice from Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina, and then for us to realize that they're being dumped into our markets. And so I think that, yes, it is a very great policy intervention. The concerns of these exporters and importers is also very legitimate because there was any adequate stakeholder engagement. I think the government has to go back. The issue with AI, you know, there has been a lot of conspiracy theories against AI. I mean, we seated here, we do also use AI in our day-to-day engagement and activities, and we've seen how it can be effective and enhancing our efficiency, right? I think that government ought to improve the manner in which the appeals committee sits a week. They sit at least twice a week, and you can imagine the level of imports into this country. Taking into consideration our orientation, economic orientation, we are heavily dependent on imports. If there are a lot of disputes raised, you cannot tell me that a committee sits only twice in a week. That even undermines the government's agenda of the 24-hour economy.
Well, the reason the president asked them to increase that, right?
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying that they should fix that. And whoever brought up that policy intervention did not think through it carefully. You cannot have...
As in how often the committee is...
Exactly. It should be as often as they can, even 7 days a week. You understand? That fits into the government's broader agenda of the 24-hour economy. And I believe that going forward, some of the fiscal policy interventions that they have to put in place to take into consideration the shocks of inflation, as we've seen with global crisis and all that they have to peg or hedge the exchange rate for certain strategic commodities coming into this country. So, for example, let's take the pharmaceutical industry. There are certain drugs that we do not produce locally in this country, taking into consideration how non-communicable diseases are on the rise, right? There are certain drugs that we don't produce. It will be unfair onto the end consumer if government increases the import duty on these strategic goods into the country. And so government has to hedge the exchange rate for a period of 6 months. So for example, if in January you are importing a certain amount of drug into the country, right? And the exchange rate within January is 10 cedis per dollar. If you're clearing it in March, you would still pay your duty hedged to that 10 cedi per dollar, even if the rate increases to maybe 16 cedis per dollar. And I think that would cushion the consumer and indeed these enterprises and how they even pay their import duties. Yeah. So going forward, I want to see the Ministry of Finance rationalize our import duty regime, and let us look at how best we can tax our people, taking into consideration the direct taxes rather than indirect taxes, because a lot of consumers are overburdened with the indirect taxes. But in general, I think that the publican AI system is good. If you look at the gains we've chalked, coming from the camp of Honorable Alan Tremartin, the party of Honorable Alan Tremartin, we know this system very well. In 2019, we introduced ICOMS, right? And it was fully operational in 2020. Within 17 days of ICOMS operation, the port raked in over 490 million cedis within 17 days. So we kind of understand how these systems work, and we believe that digital innovation and intervention in our fiscal and revenue mobilization space is the way to go. And so I don't see anything wrong with it.
It's the way to go. I'll come to you very shortly, Mr. Suyene, but I want to get the final word of Mr. Akron. In like 30 seconds, we will be wrapping up very shortly. In 30 seconds, really the way forward, we've already heard the current members of the freight forwarders and other, groups forming a whole association, declaring a strike and also asking for the suspension. Your final words as regards the way forward in 30 seconds, sir.
So here is it, ma'am. I didn't know I was going to be caught in between politicians. I am not a politician, so I'm just speaking straight to the facts. These are things I want to lay facts bare. You can check with the GRA, but in the last, say, 4 to 5 years, every year they set a revenue target. And you check with them for the last 5 years, whether they had even fallen behind those revenue targets at any time. But
last year they did. Last year in the first quarter they did 1.6 billion Ghana cedis.
If you go back, you would see that every year they meet their targets. That's number one. Number two, what we do is time bound. So if you are not able to pay your duties, after 4 days, you are paying interest charge to the government. The shipping line is laughing all the way to the bank because your goods are sitting there and you're going to pay demurrage charges. The Ports Authority is not going to stop its rent after 7 days, and the state warehouse rent, which comes from customs, after 21 days will be there. Remember also, if these goods stay in the port for 21 days, they are going to be auctioned. And so we should be mindful. All of these are time bound. And so it is very important for us to look at these things.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Diakron, former president, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Thank you for joining us via video call and for sharing your thoughts, of course, including your final thoughts as well. Mr. Suyene, your final words.
I think it is important for me to make certain corrections that my brother passed on, erroneous impressions that he passed on as facts. When we said that the system was intended to check leakages, my brother disagreed, but ended up confirming the very point that we made. You see, in the past, especially prior to the introduction of that particular system, what used to be happen was that, for example, if you are bringing in a 2023 Audi for a say, because it was manual in nature, there were people who at the port could get you to make it 2021. And so you pay duty for 2021, when in actual sense, you are bringing in a 2023. So government loses. But with the current AI system, what happens is that it is difficult for you to under-declare. If you import a vehicle that is 2024, because of the chassis number, you cannot say that the vehicle you have imported is 2020 and get to pay lower rates. But where I agree with him in principle, has to do with the cost implications. And I think that I made that point in my earlier submission. As far as the policy is concerned, I believe that there is the need for government to engage with the Ghana freight forwarders and look at it tentatively. The cost build up in terms of the valuation, the figures that is churning out can be mind-blowing. And if we are not careful, there's the tendency that the cost implications will be imported into our economy. And the gains we have made over the year in terms of inflation and exchange rate stability would be next to nothing, because Ghanaians would go to shops and prices of goods and services will be increasing, and they would not be able to reconcile that.
What's your thoughts briefly on the strike declared?
But not finally, he also made a wild allegation on that it is intended to line other people's pockets. And he did so passionately. And you see, sometimes that is the problem I have with the NPP. You see, on this table, how many times have we discussed SML? Did you ever hear my brother with similar passion, even when it was glaring, that this was a policy introduced by government to milk dry the state? He was a deputy minister responsible for information. What was his position then? What has changed? In a matter of 1 year, 4 months in opposition. What has changed? And yet still, we had hardcore evidence about how SML was designed to milk the state. Is he able, in the submissions that he made, to demonstrate how this particular publican AI has been designed to line the pockets of people? It is simply based on conjecture. And this kind of politics is not healthy for our democracy. Especially being a former parliamentarian, you need to know that when it comes to discourse of this nature, it must be grounded in fact. We cannot just sit on national television and throw out empty accusations.
In 30 seconds.
That is the work of food soldiers, not us.
Please, let me be honest with you, and let me repeat it again. This is a plan designed to steal and nothing more.
Well, and I would be glad that you submit your evidence.
Please, oh, my brother,
submit it.
When you were
and
talking,
I will join you in
when
to say,
you were talking,
you have evidence to that effect. Trust me.
I've told you, and I maintain a position that this system is nothing but designed to steal, and is not a system proved to stop the leakages.
Petition against you.
Please, you take your time. I've told you the systems and the processes it goes through. They've said that they are in to increase our revenue by 45 to 50%.
But I made that point earlier that if they are talking about a percentage, is it not linked to how much we're losing? Which evidence do you have
how much were we losing? If you look at the trajectory, from 2021 to 2024, it's been consistent 22.3% increase in our revenue. Okay? So this system, if somebody, for instance, he talked about petroleum revenue leakages, we all know, under the guise of export, people were stealing. Clearly, it was not going through the system. But this system has nothing to check that this thing is not passing through the system. But the things that are passing through the system and the valuation they are applying to it, it doesn't make sense.
Dr. Inusa, you've got 30 seconds as well to react, and we'll call it.
I'm telling you, you and I know.
Please, he has 30 seconds. Yes.
Well, I think that it is what government ought to do, as I intimated earlier on, is to go back and have a brief with all the stakeholders that are not happy with the current issues of overvaluation. I also want to see, going forward, a questioning of our importers by way of hedging the exchange rate for the payment of import duty.
There's no problem with the exchange rate.
And going forward.
The astronomical value.
And going forward.
He's got just 30 seconds and we need to wrap up for the health minister's interview. Yes.
And going forward. I believe that the orientation of this economy is, the orientation of our economy today is inimical to our development, especially the aspirations of the youth. Ghana ought to reorient its economy from an import-driven one to an export-driven one. By means of doing so, we need to invest heavily in industries and then propagate the agenda for import substitution, so that we can produce what we consume and indeed increase our exports.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramsey Inusa, Research Director for the United Party. And belated happy birthday to you from Abdallah.
Let me say this. I beg the government.
Oh, it's rather to you. Okay, it's rather to you.
I'm surprised.
Okay.
I beg the government to publish the contract between government of Ghana and AI Publican. They should publish it.
Thank you very much.
Is it because I'm white?
They should publish it. We've written
also to you as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Hamza Suhine, member of the NDC's communications team. Your microphones are actually off. And also to you as well, Mr. Sylvester Tete, former Deputy Minister of Information. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on The Big Issue. My name is Beatrice Edu. Remember that The Big Issue is always sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. Now, whether you're aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through a dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, University of Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. And if your next step is an MSc in International Relations, Communication, International Marketing, International Law, Security Diplomacy, Accounting, Finance, or Human Resource Management, an LLM in International Law, Security Diplomacy, or an MA in Biblical Studies, Practical Theology, the pathway is open. April admission is now open as well. Apply today because at the University of Gold Coast, we make it practical, flexible learning, flexible entry, and flexible payment. Study around your work and life. Choose a route that fits your background and pay in convenient installments. Your dream deserves structure, your future deserves strategy, and of course, your purpose deserves training. Apply now, www.ugc.edu.gh. You can call or WhatsApp now on 026-388-8555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. Do stay with us. When we come back, we'll bring you that conversation with the Health Minister, Minta Kando, on the universal primary health care, the free one, going to be launched later today, sports and much more. Just stay with us. My name is Beatrice Edu.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you bank like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
In Ghana, our gold is more than a resource. It's our pride. And at Gold Board Jewelry, we celebrate that pride every day with craftsmanship that reflects who we are as Ghanaians. Introducing the Gold Board Jewelry Gold Tablet. Pure, certified, proudly Ghanaian gold. The best part, when you buy a Gold Board Jewelry tablet, you own it. You keep your gold with you, not with us. It's more than a jewelry. It's a smart investment for every Ghanaian who wants to secure their future. Gold Board Jewelry Gold Tablet. Own your gold. Own your future.
Timisi, a chief me twice ha.
Ni kotodwe e de come na ase twetwe me fa me ntinim. Je me ja ene me nsem ye mo hyehyeehye na aye titriti na me hu dia me nye
cheme ba. Kanena me hawanu no. Kusi se mishia joint fortis ene never life. Udompe ene waposu ye wuya no etutu no. Joint fortis ene na ekwakoye mu atwuma. Na de atichima wo hobia no esesie no. Wuntini na emuya wuya etwetwon efiri wusisi edefa wo toase no wo nan ene nsem ehyehyɛw ayetitriti nedro ene never life. Joint fortis ene never life ene one mahoto so.
FDA ade edwede nkratoyi yi ato.
Delicious. What's the secret?
Palmac powdered tomatoes.
This advert is FDA approved.
All bets on sports. What is bet? High odds. What is bet? Fast payout. What is bet? What is bet? Bookmaker Company.
The wait is over. A new world, new stakes. Across Ghana's campuses, the search begins. The faculty is back.
What exactly makes you think you have top or strong communication? Number one.
What was your overall crisis communication objective?
Do you have what it takes? Topping 10 returns.
Topping 10 have given me the opportunity to study what I want to achieve in the next 5 years.
12 interns, 10 weeks, one life-changing opportunity.
The winner, Sandra.
If you hold a second-class upper degree or higher, this is your moment. Register now. Topping 10 Season 3. The Topping 10. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders.
It's Joe made it.
Hey, I'm fighting for my blessings. Mine will be a me. Me and I met me a true story. Will be me throne off a Bianchi count. Me dimi le moi. I brought no man. Fly high for my food, peace of mind. Na me pe. Quentiane musu. Timem faho, baby. Mon frère fils, I don't baby mune. Mon famo dia no men so me baga beba me mpabo. I won't quit time when I'm what you eat. Mon frère ma me sa don't baby mune. Mon famo dia no men so me baga beba me mpabo. I won't quit time when I'm your person will be yasin. Na yasin na mi frantoma. Ubo mi dia ya for hene count. Baby this shit, me ya baby this shit pa. Your person will be yasin. Na yasin na mi frantoma. Ubo mi dia ya for hene count. Baby this shit, me ya baby this shit pa. I dear making, I dear mate. Yase macha wo kwen na so mempere. Time on call you mini. Ubi ansu be. Ubi enya ni sika no unim kwan koro. Bi bonem kwan unim nam koro. Enti se wuti pupu a wo bi di bi anako bi nkwan. Hey, free like a butterfly, searching for my peace of mind. But you can't jam me a bye bye. Me so me go so nam kwan so. like a butterfly, searching for my peace of mind. When you can't jam me a bye-bye, miss me so now I'm crying so. Your person will buy me yasin, then yasin I'm in front of my. Who me the eye for you?
Career. Okay. And yes, he would be giving this all for the nation for the World Cup. But I mean, before the World Cup, he would have 2 friendly matches, one against Mexico, the other one against Wales. Maybe he would have another friendly in addition, because the sports minister did say some time ago that they are working to get one more friendly in addition. So he might have 3 friendlies to work with before the World Cup. So big job for him. But yeah, he's one with.
So those matches will be his, let's say, trials, if we can call it. We are trying him out to see how best he'll be able to represent us at the World Cup and, of course, take us to the World Cup as well. Well, a lot of people have been talking, sports commentators here and there, some footballers as well. And I'm told that former Germany player Gerald Asamoah has also been speaking about Carlos's appointment. Let's listen to him.
Against Austria and against Germany, what do you think are the priority things to fix before the World Cup? I think I think the question what we need to ask ourselves, what do we want as a Ghanaians? I think we need to ask ourselves, okay, do we have the material players what we think about? Because let's talk about our successful years with Asamoah Gyan, with Asian, Montari, what are the names? Asian, Montari. There were some names. There were some names. And now let's look at our team, what we're having now. We have Partey, he's a good player, but he's have some issues. What I think is not giving him the confidence to do his game. Okay, against Germany he was so good. And then let's ask ourselves, Kudus is out. So who are the players to carry this team? And that's the problem you need to ask yourself. And seeing the game in Austria, and I'll never underrate Austria, but it was like a dead team what not present us because we have. It doesn't matter how weak or not good we are, but we need to present yourself as a nation, not to lose 5-1. I think so 5-1, yeah? 5-1. And so the question was like, okay, how is this team going to present themselves against Germany? And I think Germany, I was also so surprised how Ghanaians played there, and you nearly take 1-1, and that's a reason why I think there's some spirit in this team. And I thought with Otto, he was just trying to see, okay, these are the players what I need for the World Cup. But now the new coach is coming, have now the option to say, okay, now I've seen this kind of games. Now he needs to select the players who he think will be the perfect teams for the World Cup. So if you were the coach, what would you work on? You saw the Germany game, you saw us concede 5. How do you get this team to be better than it was?
The question what we need to ask is what are we good in? Are we good in defending or are we good in offensive game? And as I see, we are really good in offensive, so we need to work on our defensive plays because if you ask us, we have some speed. I think there was a guy Prince in the front he was really fast. You have Jordan who can keep the ball. Then you have on the 6, you have Partey when he just keep the team together. Maybe to be some. So you need to be like not attacking straightly. So you need to come down, just win the ball, and then you try to go like what Otto did against Germany. Maybe this will be the thing, but
we need to work on our defensive organization.
It's important. Keeping the 0 is always the best, as just to open everything up to score 2 goals and then get a 3 back. So I think keeping the defense is one of the important things what you can do as a coach.
All right, Gerald Asamoah, he represented Ghana in the 2006 World Cup.
Yeah.
All right, he's also been talking.
Yeah, Germany in the 2006.
Germany,
yeah.
All right. Okay, no problem. I'm sure in the coming days we'll hear a whole lot. But is he in the country at the moment, Carlos? Oh, he is.
Carlos?
Yes.
No, Carlos, we don't know his whereabouts at the moment.
But yesterday I spoke to him. I said I was coming with him.
So that is why
we the flight.
That is why when you're speaking the tree, you were writing the tree. Under your videos. Bro,
what's the next story? Lord Jesus. Let's talk about the Champions League.
Yes.
Premier League and Champions League.
Champions League.
Let's talk about it.
So today there are quarterfinal games to coming your way.
Okay.
Barcelona will play against Atletico Madrid in Madrid. Atletico Madrid defeated Barcelona 2-0 in the first leg. So Barcelona have to overturn the scoreline if they want to qualify to the semis. And there's also Liverpool who have the same feat. They lost to PSG 2-0 in the previous leg last week. And now they have a home match against PSG. They have to overturn that 2-0 deficit to also qualify to the semis. So it's going to be action-packed. It's going to be fireworks in these 2 matches in the Champions League.
We'll be on the lookout for that one. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yes.
Anyway, Bill, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll have a lot to talk about, so you can tease me properly. Today there's no time. Let's take a breather. When we come back, we'll have that conversation with the health minister. But the Business Financial Times is set to host the 3rd edition of the Women in Business WIB Dialogue Series 2026 under the theme From Market to Market Leader, empowering women in SME and young women in agri-business for sustainable growth. On Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 at the Lancaster Hotel, Kumasi, 9 a.m. sharp in the morning. Now, driving women-led business growth in Ghana, the Women in Business Dialogue Series is an initiative aimed at promoting entrepreneurship, financial inclusion, and sustainable growth among women-led businesses in Ghana and beyond. This year's edition will convene women entrepreneurs, market leaders, policymakers, financial institutions, and developmental partners to deliver high-level plenary discussions. Practical masterclass sessions will be available also, opportunities to connect, network, and learn from top business leaders, practical insights and strategies to grow and scale business. Exposure to financing markets and institutional support systems, guidance on overcoming barriers in the business ecosystem, access to skills development and mentorship opportunities. All of these are available. Sponsors, partners, lead sponsor Ecobank Ghana Limited, supporting sponsors Gino, Unilever, and the Bank Hospital. Thank you very much to all the sponsors. Now, if you have any questions at all, you can call 02094 57427 or 0244 725688 for all your questions and any other inquiries that you may have. We take a break, and now when we return, that conversation
Good morning to you. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, and from our first interaction, you've been having a lot of activity so far. But just yesterday, I saw you, right?
Yes.
Interacting. How's it been so far, the ministry?
Well, it's been on. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But we are navigating the waters.
Yeah, yeah. You particularly are working in an area where the assumption has always been that you should always be a medical practitioner, so to speak, and then you have better relations, so to speak, even though we've had an accountant, etc., interacting, and then also supervising the ministry. How are you able to connect the dot, navigate, do the stakeholder engagement, especially within a pure specialized area?
Well, let me say good morning to viewers and say this is not my first time in the sector. I have been the ranking member on the Parliamentary Select Committee for 7 good years. So I've been in the sector for quite some time now. And quite apart from that, the precedence in the ministry doesn't support the argument that you necessarily have to be a professional before you can be a minister of the sector. We've had Dr. Sipanyanki, Professor Boafo, my own uncle, Kokwajima Manu, So the precedence in the ministry, I think that the medical doctors or the health professionals don't even constitute more than 20% of people who have headed that ministry.
So, all right. And then when we put the flyer out over 13 hours ago that we're going to interview you, just like when Haruna Idrusu was here, we had all your products from the various training institutions flooding our WhatsApp console. The WhatsApp, yeah. But we'll devote some time because we have now close to 10
You always have to address the issues that your constituents will want clarity on. So it's expected.
Yeah. And so, but let's deal with the subject matter of free primary health care. Because yesterday when I was listening to you, I got the sense that it is at the heart of the president himself. Why is that?
Good. So the free primary health care actually is a game changer. It's an attempt for Ghana to move from sick care to a comprehensive health care. As we have it at the moment, we don't have our sector, we don't have a comprehensive health care. So you realize that one will have to go to the hospital when he is sick for treatment. So the sector has been overly reliant on treatment. So that is a shift we are seeking. So it's a reset of the system towards prevention, early detection, equity, and affordability. So number one, all over the world, countries are struggling to attain universal health coverage, where you get to a point where your citizens will be able to access quality health care irrespective of their status in society, irrespective of whether or not they can afford, and irrespective of their location. That's where you say you have arrived at universal health coverage. Although we've made a lot of progress in our health system, but there's a lot of work to be done. Therefore, we think that the free primary health care, number one, as I've already indicated, whenever you go to the primary health care facility, you will be attended to free of charge. Usually, people delay or wait for going to the facility because of affordability. And by the time they get to the health facilities, the conditions have worsened already. So treatment is ineffective. But if the person knows that I don't need to pay money to attend the CHIPS compound, the health center, and the polyclinic, he will go to the facility early to detect the diseases early and to be able to deal with it on time for effective treatment. And so that is the freeness of it. That is the affordability bit of it, which is equally important. But I don't want us to center the conversation around the freeness of the policy. For me, if you ask me, the game changer is not only the freeness, but the game changer is the preventive aspect. Because you see, Roland, as I speak to you now, we had a survey in 2021 where only 35% of people with hypertension knew their status. They didn't know. So by the time you know, and some of these conditions, they come quietly, they develop quietly, silently. Some of them don't even show early symptoms. So by the time you know that you have hypertension, you've gotten to the complicated stage. It becomes very expensive. It becomes very difficult to treat and all that. So for me, from where I sit, the game changer is the early detection and the prevention aspect. So we have a package. Number one, it is not the free primary healthcare is not going to be applicable at all levels of healthcare delivery.
Then at which levels?
Very good. So let's define it clearly. Number one, it is applicable at the chief's compound. It is applicable at the health center, and it is applicable at the polyclinics. This is where your preventive, curative, and promotion free of charge will end. So you don't go to the regional hospital or Kolebu and go and say that we have free primary health care, so you have to treat me free of charge. That is not correct. And I don't need to create any false hope in the system. I need to be clear on that. So, Roland, this is where the National Health Insurance Scheme is still relevant. So there's a difference between the National Health Insurance and free primary health care. So you will get it free of charge at the primary level, but then when you are referred for an advanced treatment, that is where your National Health Insurance will help you. So through this program, we will be encouraging people to also enroll on the National Health Insurance so that you'll be fully protected.
I see. Then that will lead me to ask the question about the performance then of the National Health Insurance Authority, because it also means when you were ranking on the health committee, your constant criticism was the subject of due statutory allocations when the revenues were collected.
Correct. Now, there has been significant progress for the past 1 year in the National Health Insurance Scheme. Number one, His Excellency has directed, and same has been done, for the uncapping of the National Health Insurance levy. What this means in practical terms is that, for example, in 2024, the allocation that was made to the National Health Insurance was about 6 billion. And about 3 to 4 billion was capped into the consolidated fund to be expended in the other sectors. Now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes and says, look, we need health sovereignty. We need to reset the health sector. And therefore, any money we are collecting in the name of the National Health Insurance must be invested in the health sector. So in 2025, we were able to hit around 9 billion.
Cedis.
Ghana cedis. In 2026, per the formula, we are hitting between around 10 billion.
Comparable to?
The 6 billion in 2024. Progress. Now, have you ever heard that service providers are threatening to withdraw their services because they are not being paid? Because there's prompt releases of the National Health Insurance from the central point to the National Health Insurance Fund for onward disbursement to service providers. So prompt. So that is not in doubt at all. What we are even seeking to do from there is that we want to get to a point very soon where we will even increase the tariffs. The services the service providers, provide, like the consultation and what have you, we are going to increase the amount, And the progress has also reflected in the coverage within a matter of 1 year.
So wait, you're going to increase the amount you pay them?
Yeah.
The service providers.
Service providers.
So if it's a pharmaceutical entity or a mainstream hospital,
we are going to increase. Now,
for National
Health Insurance
service
tariffs,
providers.
Yes. Now, all this progress we've made so far has reflected on the coverage in a matter of 1 year. We took the coverage from 57%. In a matter of 1 year, we are hitting 66%, 1 year. Clearly reflecting. So His Excellency President Mahama says, okay, I have uncapped the National Health Insurance, so let's then put more of the health issues on the National Health Insurance. So you hear free primary health care, but then we are not going to set up any power structures or bureaucracies to run it or to finance it.
So how are you in turn running it then?
Fantastic. So the free primary health care will be still financed by the National Health Insurance Scheme. No power structure. So the population-based payment or the reimbursement will be done by the National Health Insurance. Now the implementing agencies will still be the Ghana Health Service, CHARG, and the private sector. In actual fact, you can never have a comprehensive health system or care without this promotion and then the prevention. So we are committing resources to this to make it meaningful. Roland, quite apart from these facilities I've already mentioned, we are making effort to deploy not less than 350 container-based kiosks at lorry parks, and today I'll be visiting some of them. Lorry parks and highly populated, highly populated areas, so that the healthcare delivery can be at the doorstep of the ordinary Ghanaian. So you'll be in your house, you see health professionals walk in, they will take your BP or your sugar level, or they will screen. So there will be continuous screening of citizens.
So you want to undertake a community-based kind of...
Exactly.
Okay.
So apart from
like the way they do in the UK, even though it's not the same, like
exactly.
you have the general...
So apart from the fact that you can walk to the CHIPS compound, or you can walk to the polyclinic, or you can walk to the health center, we'll have a situation where health professionals will walk to your house, your villages, to screen you, so that when you have any condition, you can be referred to the next level of care.
I see. But you're talking about all this, and you will need a lot of personnel, you need a lot of hospitals, etc. And I know that there are complaints currently, particularly from the opposition, who say that, and even the former president did say that the current government, you are supervising the health ministry, the president is there, complete Agenda 111 hospitals, and you even have backlog of students you've trained who are now nurses with proper pains licensed, and they've not been posted. So let's start with the facilities.
You know, Roland, yesterday when I met the press, a similar question came up, and I was finding it very difficult to put it in its right context and perspective. So I was very, very careful the kind of words I use. I was not expecting that from the former president.
Why not? He birthed the idea, Agenda 111.
So then listen to me. Number one, we are all in this country when he said that he was going to complete Agenda 111 before he hands over. You were here. You hosted me on this program. You hosted all of them. That I'm going to complete Agenda 111 before I hand over as President of the Republic of Ghana. 111 projects. Now, 8 years down the lane, you couldn't finish one. Number two, you superintendent over a situation where you invested about 4.8 billion Ghana cedis in Agenda 111, yet one was not completed. It is all because of improper planning. Because if you spend 4.8 billion and you plan well, you can complete 20. You can roll out in phases. But none was completed.
Not even one?
Not even one.
The videos I'm seeing... That
not even one is in operation. One. Not even one, because when you finish, and you have videos where the president himself went and commissioned. But go back to those places. They are locked because it's not being completed. They move generators to site to go and commission it. I've gone there, I've visited the place.
What do you need to make sure that an Agenda 111 hospital that was commissioned by the
good news is that
His
Excellency the President has instructed that no project that he inherited should be abandoned. So we have a plan now. You know, the AESL people were doing the comprehensive auditing in order to know whatever we have inherited, to plan how we can get money to continue and all that. So now we have a way where government is going to complete some of them, because, Roland, we need about 20 billion Ghana cedis to be able to complete it. And that will take us years. And that is what they didn't reflect on. So there must be a strategy to tackle it. So government will identify some, say, just an example I'm citing. Government will say, let's identify about 30 of them, we'll finish them. Then we'll package another sector another group, and then we say CHAG, Christian Health Association of Ghana, come in, Pentecost, Assemblies of God, Catholic, you can come and take.
Is that the strategy?
Yes, we have a relationship with them.
Because we have 110 hospitals,
yes.
11 hospitals, right?
Yes, so what we'll do is that at the moment, about 105 are the various levels of completion. So we can say, okay, we are doing, it's an example I'm citing. We are taking about 40 of them, we will complete, government will complete. But instead of us to wait for another 2 or 3 or 4 years, no, CHAG, you can come in. Because they are non-profit oriented. And we give them their compensation. Government pays their compensations. Government pays their workers, the health professionals they use. And so you can come in, complete, equip, and run. If there's a need for the private sector to also come in, Roland, you have money. You can identify one. Given the investment government has made in the facility, we'll sign an agreement with you. You'll finish. 10 years, 15 years later, reverted back to the state or subject to renewal. So you see, we are thinking outside the box and looking at how we can complete and put to good use all these facilities. And Roland, before you go to your next question, this is very important to make, that the free primary health care, we are not going to roll out the whole country at once. So we are going to do it in phases. So out of the 261 districts, the first phase will be 150 districts. And we are targeting the underserved districts. So in every region, we look at the underserved regions and roll them on the first phase. So every region, Ashanti region, Greater Accra, Northeast, Northwest, and all that, will take some districts, and that will constitute the 150 for the first phase. And then we'll study it and see the progress we'll make, and then
since you need hospitals, and already we know the tiers in which the hospitals are, and in relation to these hospitals, Agenda 111, the question then is, for this year and next year, how many do you intend or have you targeted to be able to complete?
For the Agenda 111?
Yes.
About 10.
About 10?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have targeted 10 to be completed this year. I mean, for you to see contractors going back to site to begin the construction. 10. They must go back to site to begin the construction.
How many do you intend making functional?
For the year, depending on the level of completion.
Yeah, because there are some, you can clearly see that the signs...
Yes. There are about 3 of them that the civil works. Health facility is not only the brick and mortar.
And the equipment. Some
have it there. Personnel, brick and mortar, technology, and all that. So there are some that I believe that we can finish as early as possible. That I agree with you. Those ones we are expert. In fact, as I speak to you now, I've instructed that those contractors must go back to site immediately.
Okay.
And I believe that within the week, they will mobilize and go back to site, and we are going to finish those ones. Okay? And then we will have to phase out the rest and to be able to put them to good use. We are not going to abandon any of them. But you see, Roland, it hurts when, that person who was supposed to plan well, that person who was supposed to complete the project, that who assured all of us. You remember at the first instance, it was from 77 to 111.
It was actually 88.
88, thank you.
Announced in April.
Fantastic.
The COVID year.
And when we were told that they were going to use 16 months to complete everything. And when he was pushed further, he said, I'll make sure that I complete all the 111. Then, less than 2 years down the lane, you say, hey, go and finish all. Oh, my brother, let's be realistic to ourselves. So,
okay. There are still legacy projects nonetheless.
It's a trap they have set.
They set a trap?
Yes. Because this is a project that they think that, look, and right from day one, as a ranking member,
you kept saying that they should have narrowed it.
Exactly. And I said that they had no intention of completing this Agenda 111. I said it, Roland.
Yes, you did.
Yes. And so
but at the end of the day, you have inherited this as a minister.
I'm saying that it's a trap. We will solve it. They won't get us into that trap. Okay. The trap is that, okay, let's start all these constructions. Get into elections, we'll go back to them. Vote for us and let's continue. If we lose the election, we'll put pressure on government to finish. If they don't finish, they'll say, oh, they have abandoned the project. It's a trap. But we'll have a way of navigating through this trap. So we'll put all
10
these things.
Contractors will go back
to site to start
and
with.
Then those that are close to, you try to see.
Exactly.
Because your argument is that even after completion, you still need to get clearance to make sure you get the right personnel in there and all that.
So when you move to clearance and then the workforce, let me comment a bit on the workforce. Roland, we inherited a situation where we have huge numbers of health professionals at home. Huge numbers.
How many?
Now, as I speak to you now, we're talking about over 100,000. Don't forget that every year, between 35 to 40,000 health professionals complete both private and government. You understand? And so government needs to find a way of absorbing these health professionals. So there are two main approaches. One, government facilitating some of them to leave this country to find jobs for them, and we are doing that. And let me comment on this. I've seen one of my PAs rush to me to show me a video of somebody criticizing me to say that I am saying that there is, we are doing that to create space. The space I mentioned is physical space. The main problem we have as a country when it comes to our health professionals is not the availability of vacancy. We have the vacancies, we need them. But the budget can only contain what we can pay. So once they leave, they create physical space and you employ more. So that is the space I refer to. Number two, this year, you remember we inherited a situation where about 11,500 of them had been, recruited without financial provisions. We've gone past that stage. Now, the arrears, we have staggered them. By the end of this month, 2 months will be paid. By the end of next month, 3 months will be paid. Subsequently, that is July, the rest will be paid. Quite apart from that, this year, by the grace of God, I have another clearance to recruit health professionals. In this case, we are not limiting it to nurses and midwives. Allied health professionals have been complaining for a very long time that they've been neglected for a very long time. You sit on this program and you know. Physician assistants, and let me tell the physician assistant, there's a program, World Bank program, I think P4R, and they were recruited, about 250 of them were recruited, and now the program has come to an end and they're supposed to be laid out, but we are going to continue to engage them to streamline.
Now let's take them one after the other, because over the last 13 hours, the inundation has been from the backlog of personnel, and it's good that you mentioned the allied health professionals, the nurses. You have a backlog of over 100,000. What's the plan to make sure the immediate numbers and how much are they? You are able to cater for them based on clearance from the Ministry of Finance or the budget.
So listen clearly. That's what I wanted to throw light on. So number one, we are doing what we call Ghana Labor Exchange Program, facilitating some of them to get employment in other countries to reduce the numbers. That's the first one. Number two, government is taking deliberate effort to absorb some into our health system in the country. Now, this year, we are looking at employing between 16 to 20,000 of them. Now, this is what we're going to do. We are not going to allow any health worker to go to any facility to work when we have not been able to prepare him or her on their payroll. We won't do that again. You remember the strike incident? Sometimes you say, oh, go and start, we'll pay the arrears, but it leads to other things. So even after the 16,000, after vetting, if we finish, and I'll come to the processes, if we finish, let's say, the 16,000, and we are ready to enroll, let's say 6,000, we'll allow the 6,000 to enroll, and we're going to do that by June, July. Then the rest, we'll stagger them. Maybe December will enroll the rest. We will never allow any of them to go to any health facility to go and work whilst we are not ready to enroll the person on the payroll. Now, the system, we are going to change the system a bit for the recruitment. Nobody is going to sit in the ministry and post a health professional. You are going to post yourself right from the beginning. You don't come and tell me that I've posted you to a place you won't go. So we'll declare vacancies where we have vacancies. So we'll start from the northern part of the country, and the underserved communities will be our priority areas. We'll be guided by the free primary health care. So we'll declare day one, we will open 2 regions.
Okay.
So you yourself, we have Bunkugu Yoyo, we have Kobore, so you will choose which district you will want to go. Then you will go for an interview in that district. You go there to see the place, whether you want to go and work there. And then, after that, if you go through the interview and you pass, then they will get back to us for us to validate you at our end, and you go and start work. Now, this is again what we're going to do. If you open the 2 regions for, let's say, a day, some of them 2 days, some of them 1 day, under normal circumstances, if you are going for a vetting or interview, we should pick more than the number so that you screen. Is that not the case? We are not going to do that. So if Jabusu needs 10, we will, if it gets to 10, we'll catch it. The portal will catch it at 10. Automated. 10. We are not taking 11. We are not taking 15. The reason is simple. I will explain. If we need 10 at Jaboso and we allow about 50 there, we want to avoid a situation where people will go and pile up at a place and create a scene. Number 2, we want to avoid a situation where people can influence the interview panel. In that case, the minister will be in Accra. I will not have control. So Jaboso needs 10. We'll give Jaboso 10. Go through the interview. Maybe 8 people have qualified. 2 people. So you have a vacancy of 2. So we'll take those gaps and reopen again till you get the numbers.
How do we prevent elimination by rough tactics? What
does that mean?
Where, let's say there's a allocation for Draboso, or let's say Keta, or let's say Ejuso. Okay, and then allocation for 20 for each of them. And then we go through an interview process and only 10 people are deemed to be qualified. So that there's no accusation that people down there, you are not down there.
No, that's what I've just explained. I'm saying that we're not going to have a situation to choose out of a certain number for people to influence the process. So the first group of people who choose the facility and they'll go through the system. Okay? And this one, the priority will be given to the 2021 batch. Because they ended at the 11,500 ended at the 2020 batch. So we will give the priority to the 2021 batch. So if in Jaboso, we need 10 people. 10 people have applied.
Yeah.
It stops from there.
Okay.
So that nobody will be able to influence.
Currently on Facebook, 1,400 people are watching us. There seems to be an interest. You,
very high interest,
Communication Minister, Education Minister, your numbers were always up the rafters. Because you look at the time and the numbers, so people are interested. So I'll go to the comment section.
Okay, all right.
And then I'll ask the questions because we want this to be interactive, not just me asking the questions. We want to listen to the people and then those that are affected, so to speak. And so, more importantly, the first question I have is coming from an individual who says that, kindly ask the health minister if I'm a certificate holder and currently pursuing a degree program, which will be ready by next year. Do I have to wait till next year to apply with a degree program and get that status, or I can first apply with my diploma certificate or any other certification based on availability at the portal?
Yes, so it depends on him or her, what certificate he wants to use. You cannot apply with a certificate you have not completed. So if he wants to apply with his diploma, that is his or her choice.
Okay. Please ask him, if I choose one district and that district is full, will you be able to choose another district again? Meaning that there are availability or vacancies. They are open. So can one person choose more than one vacancy?
No, you choose one.
So you open one demographical area at a time, or geographical area at a time?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Please ask him. Okay, so I've exceeded that. Then this one also is coming from a main portal and says that... It
looks like the whole conversation is now going to be around...
No. I'll make time for
But I can understand. The interest there is very high. I can understand.
Please let him, and this one is coming from Lukman, give us more details on the upcoming recruitment of health professionals, the year groups they are considering,
That's
and the
what
number
I've
of
done.
professionals.
We've already answered those questions.
2021.
And 2021, and every other profession within the health sector will be considered. The PAs, the allied health people, everybody.
And this one is coming from a practicing health professional. She says she's a senior nursing officer.
Okay.
And says that doctors, nurses, and everybody else pay for their own care, health care, even though they work at various health facilities. So what's the incentive package for them?
Well,
is this something that has reached you?
Yes, we have the condition of service, and it is not entirely accurate that they pay for everything. Every facility have their own internal arrangement to assist their health professionals, but it's something we are reflecting on, and is an ongoing discussion.
All right. Let me just ask 2 more, then I'll go to the mainstream.
No problem.
We'll continue. Please ask him why Allied Health Professionals Council has stopped issuing certificates. Do you have any knowledge about that? You have
so I'll take note of that. And then yesterday I was hearing all manner of, I was getting all manner of feedbacks about issuance of PIN and certificates, and I've begun to probe into them. So if they've stopped issuing certificates, right after the program, they will have to come and explain why that is that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's come back to the mainstream and leave the comment section because there are a lot of people. When you were a ranking on the health committee, you were constantly on the neck of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government about the La General Hospital.
Yes.
We even went there several times to do lives. Why haven't you completed the hospital?
Completed? The number of months or the duration for the contractor has not been exceeded. So when we came, there was nobody on site. The contractor has left site because the government was owing the contractor. We have paid the contractor. The contractor is back on site and they are working.
When will they complete the work?
Well, I think they're supposed to complete in about 12 months or so.
If you take a look at the focus on and the pressure on you to make sure you complete Agenda 111, when will you have time to also build other top-notch facilities as well?
Okay. We have already started. So, you see, the health sector is such a way that you cannot say because you are doing one thing, all others must be held constant, or you must be able to work on them simultaneously. So, for example, we used to have 10 regions, and so we had 10 regional hospitals. As we speak, we have 16 regions. So there are about 6 regions without regional hospitals. This year, in the 2026 budget, an allocation has been made to begin with 3 regional hospitals, i.e. Western North, Savannah, and OT. I've moved in there. We've inspected the sites for these 3 hospitals. Commitment authorization have been secured, and the processes have commenced. And very soon, you see those contractors on site. So we are constructing specialized hospitals. And then there's a deliberate policy by government that every district must construct not less than 2 chips every year. And we are looking at a new design of polyclinics that we're also going to go into complete. So Agenda 111 yet, we won't left it behind, but we are also pursuing other projects as well. All the projects we inherited, including La General Hospital, we've given them money, and they are on site. Very soon, around Adeso, Etiwa area, we have about 3 to 5 hospitals that we are paying the contractor, and then we'll finish and go and commission. So we are not leaving any of these projects behind. We are pursuing all at the same time.
How are you undertaking this, taking cognizance of needed connecting roads and infrastructure, and so you're being more interministerial, sectorial in your decision-making?
The question again?
How are you making sure you're talking to other ministries, departments?
Oh, yeah.
So that, for example, if you are citing a facility, because we've had instances where educational facilities were cited, they raised issues.
We do that a lot. For example, Sewia Regional Hospital. It was between the Minister for Roads, Minister for Energy, and Minister for Works and Housing, and myself. So we communicate. Because you finish the project, and you will not be connected to the national grid. You finish the project, and accessibility by road is a problem. You finish the project, and they don't even have water. So constantly, in some of these instances, I personally speak to my colleagues. We correspond as well, and then we move together. So I have been doing that. And there are a lot of the policies in the health sector that you have to draw other sectors in. Free primary healthcare, for example, you necessarily have to get the Minister for Education on board, the Minister for Local Government on board, Minister for Finance on board, the AG on board. So if you're a minister and you sit in that ministry and you think that you can do all alone, you will realize that you go and hit a snag. So you must take all these things into consideration, and then you do wide consultations, especially on the free primary healthcare. You can't come out with such a policy without wild stakeholders consultation. GMA, GRNMA, media, CSOs, pharmaceutical society, pharmaceutical manufacturers, all that. So we do a lot of wide, members of parliament, wide consultations.
For many health professionals, over the last 10 years, my interaction with them for some of them, like those who train as, hygiene, school, who attend the School of Hygiene, maybe community health nurses, physician assistants,
yes,
the PAs.
The
perception is that within the tier or the structure, they are not giving the voice, the consideration to be able to. Yeah. So how is that a priority?
Yes, that has been their concern. And so that is why, so usually, you will hear when the recruitment figures come out, you will hear, oh, nurses and midwives are going to be recruited. So this year in our communication, we said health professionals. So we are giving quota to all these groups of people. And we've opened our doors for them. As and when they need to engage my director, HR, they do. As and when they need to engage me, we do. And then we try to tell them what we are doing. Last year, for example, there were a lot of agitations in the system from those who had not had the opportunity to be employed. And we engaged some of them and said, look, we have come to inherit about 11,000 of them. We don't even have their salaries. And so give us some time. Next year, we'll recruit. Next year, we've started, and we are engaging them. You understand? And so it's been their concern, but I will also try and then take them on board for them to, usually, if they are part and they know what is happening, they are at ease, rather than not knowing what is happening in the system. And let me reiterate the point that this year's recruitment, our priority will be the free primary health care. And so it will be guided accordingly.
In the budget, you said you were going to upgrade 7 hospitals, their maternal and child health wing. There was an allocation for some million for their equipment and ward expansion. Are you charging your directors of health at the various regions to perhaps pursue that policy?
Yeah, so in every teaching hospital, I've signed KPIs with the CEOs. You give me a 4-year plan, how you are going to transform your hospital. So for example, Kolebu this year, we are going to build the Kolebu maternity block. We're going to do it. So everybody, if at the end of the year, you have not been able to achieve those milestones, you have questions to answer. And Roland, in the health ministry, this is what we are doing at the moment. Every policy we roll out, every program must have an impact. We must be able to measure the impact. So we are not just rolling out programs and projects for rolling them out sake, but we measure the impact we will make. You understand? And so we are on course, and I believe that we will get there. We have a lot to do, but we'll get there.
A key issue that came up a couple of weeks ago, I'll say just over a month ago, was the young engineer who, of course, having been to some hospital, did not get a bed.
Yeah.
And the no-bed syndrome has been with us for decades.
Yeah.
Okay. You've spoken about that. How are we moving forward to be able to, one, when it comes to getting the responsiveness by way of the standard operating procedures, and subsequently the expansion to cater for?
Okay, Roland, my position and that of Mr. President is that irrespective of a condition in any health facility, no health facility should turn away an emergency situation, an emergency case. Excuse my language, even if there's the need, and I use that word carefully, to save the person's life on the floor, it is better than turning the person away to go and die. Roland, as you rightly indicated, no-bed syndrome has been with us for some time now. And so as a leader, when you come in, you don't need to be part of those who are lamenting and complaining. You must find a solution to the problem. And before I go to the solutions, let me make the point that I set up a 3-member committee, which was chaired by Professor Bedu Akosa. I'm told the report is ready, but because of the free primary health care, we'll take them and we'll make it available to the public. And I will not hesitate to implement all the recommendations that will be in the report. We will implement them. So on my brother Charles's issue, a committee has been established. They are almost ready with their report, and I can assure the public that we'll make that report fully available to the public, and I will also not hesitate to implement to the latter the recommendations that will be in that report. But that notwithstanding, let me touch on few measures we have started to undertake. Number one, no bed syndrome. What we have realized is that sometimes patients are kept at the emergency ward for a very long time. You understand? And so what we have decided to do is that we're going to use the IT approach to have visibility on all beds. So I can sit in my office and know that if you're in Kwanta Hospital, we have 3 or 4 beds at emergency. So we are doing the counting and barcoding of all these beds, and we have what you call a command center. So we are establishing a command center at Rage Hospital at the moment. And so every health facility, we are piloting the regional hospitals and the teaching hospitals who have commanders who feed into the system, and then the ambulance people are also on board. So when you feed in the system, it will be able to tell you where you should move a patient and where you should not go. But Roland, there's one point I also need to make forcefully. Usually, when there is an emergency, people are quick to move these emergency cases to the big hospitals, Kolebu, UGMC, Rage. It is always advisable to rush that patient to the nearest facility, even if it's a cheap compound, to stabilize the patient, and for that facility to refer you to other tier of the healthcare delivery system. And so we are doing that. Number two, we'll go back to Parliament with a bill on emergency issues. Number three, we are going to establish a whole center for emergency issues. And to add on to the best we have and all that. The already existing ones too at Kolebu, at Confanoche, at UGMC, we are looking at expansion. So these are some of the reforms we are bringing. I am not saying that we are going to deal with it comprehensively and will not have that problem. As for spillovers, even in developed countries, at one point or the other, you have spillovers. But as to how to manage the spillovers is also what the problem we have to contend with.
Okay. Even before the committee's report is brought to your attention, subsequently, if you want to, you make public. What have you noticed so far? That maybe at a certain point in time, we have so much beds available, but they are evenly or unevenly distributed. And then it's also because we have a number of individual practitioners or hospitals that tend to flout standard operating procedure. That's why we had incidents like that.
Roland, I've had instances where, and I'll be very blunt with you. I mean,
please be.
We are public.
Once
offices.
It's not defamatory, we're fine.
I'll have instances where people will go to the health facility and they'll say there's no bed, and they will call me, and I'll call the health facility, and there will be bed. And I keep telling them all the time, the day I'll be happy as a health minister is when people will stop calling me that they need bed at a facility.
Whilst there's bed?
Whilst there's bed. This is an open secret.
So what's causing it?
You understand? And so what's causing it is that we must have visibility. It must be transparent so that if there's bed, you cannot tell me there's no bed. So that does not mean that there are not rare situations where there are no beds. I've not said that, please. There are rare situations where there are indeed no beds. And so we need to, and as you have rightly indicated, there could be beds somewhere, there could be beds at Rage, and you go to Kolebu. You understand? But when we have a centralized system to know where there are beds, that will also help us a lot. Whilst we're looking at expansions, I've made mention of expansion. Whilst we look at other avenues we will explore.
All right, we're still with the Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Kando, who also doubles as the Member of Parliament for Draboso. And we are also live on 3FM 92.7, so you can also catch us live there. Also across our social media handles, TV3 Ghana, 3FM 92.7 as well. Let's have some great conversations thereof. And the questions keep trickling in. I always say that so far my observations, education, health, communication. If you're a minister and person you come and sit here, you'll get questions.
You see your smoothness.
I'm told, please, the previous government that the NP apparently what you're going to complete. Okay. Now, a critical question is about when the UGMC was not fully operational, you, as respectfully, a ranking, you were complaining fully that they were not operational, etc. So why is it that those that are not, that are near operational, talking about the Agenda 111 hospitals, you will not get them to be operational?
What kind of question is this? I think I have answered this question, that it is not as though the facilities have been completed and we are not making them operational. There are two different, issues.
Okay.
That I have come. The facility has been completed. There are equipment, and we don't want to operationalize. That one is just sending health professionals there to go and start the operation. That is not the case.
Okay.
Okay? Even the civil works for Agenda 111, less than 10%, in fact, less than 5% of civil works are above 80%. Less than 5%. Civil works. If you combine the civil works plus the equipment, a facility that is about civil works 80%, if you add the equipment, you are bringing it down to about 50% completion. You see the realities. So it's not as if they are ready. And then there's money. You see, there's a difference between the projects and the programs His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left in 2016 and this one. Some of them, we had a program, a project, a source of funding is secured. So when you inherit, you just continue with the source of funding.
So you're saying Agenda 111 is sitting on GOG?
GOG.
You have to cough the money.
You have to cough the money. You have to plan. You have to think outside the box.
GOG.
The money is not sitting there. GOG.
I see.
So that is the difference. If I have I will be the most, the most happiest minister that I have money sitting in the ministry and I'm supposed to complete project. I'll be so excited to do that. But you need to think beyond that. You have to convince the finance minister. You have to go to cabinet to make the case. The cabinet must necessarily approve it and give you the money to be able to complete.
All right.
We don't have a reliable and a secured funding for Agenda 111. It's not anywhere.
Sorry, I've brought this. This is my 7th question on it. So because the pressure is there, and they keep accusing me, Roland, you're not asking the question because.
Please, the assurance, Roland, again, is that we have assessed the situation. We are going to stagger the completion. Government is going to take a chunk of it and run with it. In other words, complete and operationalize. There's a difference between completion and operationalization. So we will do that. Those that are above 80%, especially the 90% region, have instructed the contractors to go back to site, and they're going back to site to finish them and we'll operationalize them. So we'll pick about 30 to 40 of these facilities and government will complete. And that will be staggered for the next year and the subsequent ones. And then the next year of group of facilities, we'll look at the corporate Ghana, GRMNA, GMA, other people can also come and partner government to complete. Private sector can come, corporate Ghana can come. So on Agenda 111, I know that everywhere I have gone with Mr. President, people have raised concerns about Agenda 111. So we have our eyes
on the chronic ailment. We have kidney disease because of underlying complications, etc. The dialysis machines, they are just not available. What's the current statistics of hospitals that have or across the country and don't have? They've come to your attention. You intend inputting or stocking them? How much?
So we are at a very advanced stage of rolling out a lot of dialysis machines in our regional and teaching hospitals. So what we are doing at the moment is that we are doing what we call hospital equipment placement. So we are partnering the private sector. So you, Roland, you say you have equipment, dialysis machines. We've divided the whole country into lots. And so we are starting with about 30 facilities. And we are going through the procurement processes. So Roland, you come, you bid, you win. You say, okay, you have your dialysis machines. We'll say, okay, go and put it at Ridge Hospital. And then you will be paid, if it's National Health Insurance or Mahama Cares, they will pay you according to the usage of the machine. So the procurement processes are ongoing. The whole country has been divided into lots, and we are at the completion, almost at the end of the procurement processes.
How are we going to make sure they are affordable? Because I'm asking this question because
you go to
in front of Kolebu, you find the tech, something tech, they are doing some lab, something, some MRI scan, something, whilst the hospital, which is the public facility, doesn't have, by a private person have. This time it's going to sit in the hospital. We're doing a PPP arrangement.
So the tariffs of those machines or services will be subjected to 2 or 3 main regulations, if you like, laws. Because it will be part of the agreement, it will be part of the MOU we sign. We will not allow the private sector to determine or to dictate the price. So what we are going to do is that if it is Mahama Cares, it will be subjected to the tariffs of Mahama Cares or National Health Insurance tariff or the Fees and Charges Act of Parliament.
Okay. All right. Let me return to the question because we want to wind up. So why are you still training and churning out health professionals in thousands when you know the state cannot absorb them? Isn't it time to reassess the needs and design new programs for health and allied health training schools to allow for a gradual absorption of the backlog before you begin new?
You cannot stop procreation. You cannot stop training of health professionals because you have a backlog. That cannot be done. But what we can do and what we are doing is that we are shifting the attention from the usual general nursing to what we call the post-basic, the specialties. What we've realized is that the countries who request our health professionals always come with some kind of qualifications, and usually the specialties. And so what we are doing at the moment is that there are some specialties that are not being run in this country, and we've started running some of them. So we are concentrating on the specialties so that when those demands come, we'll be able to meet the demand on the globe. Okay. And then we'll also be able to manage the numbers, but we cannot stop entirely.
This one says that the primary health care policy, the free primary, is a game changer, so kudos to you. But then you haven't, your ministry or your Ghana Health Service hasn't released a promotion letters for nurses and midwife educators who attended promotion interview as far back as September last year.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you will not know about it.
Director General
Ministers, if people no be easy.
So I'll take note. And
okay. This one is coming from Prince Nania York. He's watching us. He's a regular watcher from the UK. Oh, okay. He says that he loves your exposition on the structures of recruitment, but he's worried about connection, the human interference. You know, Ghana connection.
So that's why. Okay, I get. So you see, it is a very reason why we do not want to allocate a quota that is more than what is needed at a particular place. And maybe you may follow up from the ministry since we took office. We are doing our best to cut out those interferences and make sure that we do a transparent job.
Okay.
And Roland,
yes,
we cannot end these conversations without touching on the postings of the medical officers. So let me touch briefly on that. And I still have my position. Roland, I took office as a Minister for Health where there are some districts, not communities, not towns, some districts without a single medical doctor in this country.
At all?
At all.
In Ghana?
In Ghana. You see, you are surprised. And so I said, no way. So my first deployment, I said, I'm going to target and concentrate on the underserved regions. We have about 8 regions, the OT, Western North, Savannah, classified as underserved regions. So we targeted those regions and did the deployment. In 2024, when they did the deployment, only 12 medical doctors accepted postings to those 8 underserved regions. 12, not one regional. 12.
21?
2024. Only 12 accepted, postings to 8 regions. Are you getting the drift?
So we have vacancies.
But vacancies are there.
Postings were done.
Done. They didn't accept the
Yet
postings.
only 12 took up the vacancies.
For 8 regions. Within which, even every region, you can have more than 8 districts. Are you getting the point?
What was the vacancies available, if you could?
What was the... Almost all the districts in those regions had vacancies.
Numbers. Because 12 took them, so they should have...
Yes. So if you put them together, they could be... Because even on average, if you have 5 districts in 8 regions, you're talking about more than 40 district hospitals. I getting the argument?
Or vacancies.
Or vacancies. So even if it's one each. So in 2025, we said, no, we'll target those regions. And so we deployed. We had a huge backlash. And people were refusing. But by the grace of God, we have about 100 people who have responded. They've gone. Those who have not responded, and they are not going, Roland, what we are going to do is that we are going to deprive them of that opportunity of posting.
Oh.
Yes.
Medical doctors.
Yes, medical doctors. We deprive because we posted you for months. You are not going. You are not ready to accept that posting. We are going to deprive them of that posting. Those who have accepted posting, we are going to put on the payroll. Some of them have already started paying them. Then we'll open the portal again for any medical doctor who want to go to where we have advertised vacancies. I agree, Roland, that they have difficulties and concerns, and some of the concerns are genuine that we are dealing with. And so I had to visit some of the regions to engage the opinion leaders to get a befitting accommodation, sometimes some vehicle and what have you. I can't disclose all on TV. But Roland, I cannot sit here and say that because of those difficulties, we will not send medical doctors to those districts.
Well, thank you for passing through our studios and then answering a call for this interaction. I hope that it was soft so that at least you were able to answer.
Has anything been soft from your end?
Yes, always. Right here on TV3.
So we are launching the free primary healthcare, God willing, tomorrow by 10 a.m. at Dodowa, and that will be done by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama. And free primary healthcare remains his flagship program, especially when he's been championing health sovereignty on the continent and on the globe. And charity begins at home, and he's demonstrating that.
Kwabna Minta Akando, Honorable, is also not only the Minister for Health, but the Member of Parliament for Draboso. He's been our guest this morning. And the last comment I'll read from a viewer says, the Health Minister, as I'm watching him now, is doing so well, and we wish him the very best in his services. And it's coming from the Law Union President, Central University Law School, Nasser Ejin. And it's where we have to end the interaction this morning. I hope that it's been quite educative. Please make sure you join us same time tomorrow for TV3 Newday. Bye-bye.